maybe a small edge at the beginning of this game, specifically to Team Richard, and just because they came off that big win.
Well, and you say it's not just a win in the semifinal, but a win against Jim Cotter. And this is almost a historic event here in BC. This is the first BC men's final without Jim Cotter in it in 9 years.
Wow.
You have to go all the way back to 2013 before you don't see Jim Cotter in the final of the BC men. So, you know, maybe slaying the dragon a little bit was Jeff Richard last night. And so that may be a key for them here today against Paul Cseke as we get a good look there. Kind of what we expected here, Melissa. Brent aggressive right away, putting up that center guard.
Yeah, no doubt for sure that Brent was going to put up the center guard to start this game, and it just all depends on how Team Cseke is going to respond. Obviously, they have the hammer here in the first end, and I like that they are going right after them, coming right around that center guard. Some teams will elect in the early ends to go to the wings, as we've seen in the women's game specifically today, but great shot there by Ryan Cassidy, just a little too deep. I would say that needed to be maybe a couple feet lighter.
So it is, of course, the men's provincial final here. One of these two teams will earn the right to represent BC in Lethbridge in March. The Brier gets underway on March 4th. And these teams, 6 of these 8 players, Melissa, never been to the Brier before. All of the Islanders with no BC championships, and then Jared Colomea and Nick Meister on the Pierce side with no provincial championships. And so does that add just that little bit more pressure in this game?
I would think so. You know, we talked a bit before that a lot of the players have had this final experience, but not that winning the final, and that's a big difference. But regardless of what kind of experience you have, other than Jeff and Brent himself, you have to draw on those experiences. You have to draw on what you know. It's easy to talk about it. It's easy to put it on paper. It's easy to do that, but it's hardest to employ it, and you have to manage your emotions, especially because this game means so much to both teams.
Absolutely, and we heard that from Paul Cseke yesterday, a great shot there by Ryan Cassidy. We heard that from Paul in the post-game interview after that 1-2 game yesterday morning. He noted the 2 provincial finals him and Jay have been in before, and once again, we maybe won't mention who else happened to lose those finals with Paul and Jay, but it was, you know, Paul said that. He said, you know, we'll learn from our experience in the past, just having the day off, having about 36 hours off before having to play this final, knowing how to manage it. And I think I agree with you, Melissa, that's super key that, you know, even though we say, oh, well, you've never won the provincial final before, you've been in similar situations, and you lean on those experiences to, you know, help you prepare for this huge game.
Exactly. And we look at this first end, John, and so far 5 out of 5 pretty much. Both teams coming to play. Great job there by Jared on his first shot. So chance here now for Jay to try and peel the center guard, maybe open up the forefoot.
So we get our first look at Jay Wakefield, and we'll meet the teams here. The Islanders from the Victoria Curling Club. Jay Wakefield throwing second stones, but is skipping the game. Paul Cseke is throwing fourth. Corey Chester at third, and the squad's rounded out with Ryan Cassidy at lead. And as Stacy said off the top, this Jeff Richard team, a little misnomer because Brent is holding the broom and throwing last. So usually we'd expect the team to be called Team Pierce, and they're also technically curling out of the Royal City Curling Club, even though all 4 members are from different clubs. It's Brent Pierce representing Royal City, Jeff Richard III representing Kelowna, second Jared Colomea representing Kamloops, and lead Nick Meister representing Langley. So we're really getting a provincial flavor here. We've got the Okanagan, the Lower Mainland, and the Island represented in this final.
That's pretty much covered all the geographic areas of our province.
Just about. We're just missing the North and the Kootenays, but
you're right.
We'll see if maybe they'll have something to say. We actually haven't had a champion from the North or the Kootenays since 2005. Dean Horning out of Trail, and Nelson winning with his squad. And we saw one of those members actually here this week. Rob Nobert was the lead on that Dean Horning team and was skipping a team in the field this week, but they missed the playoffs. And Melissa, you're from Victoria. This has actually been a long drought for Victoria as well. Victoria has not won a championship since 2007. Dean Jonice winning that provincial Brier back then, and actually Mike Wood, who we heard from in the pregame, was the third on that team. So this would be a big win for the Island if the Islanders can pull it off.
Oh, it definitely would. And you know, this team specifically, and I only know this because I've been working with them and they're part of the high performance program. They've been working extremely hard in the off season with their coach, Cody Hall, and their fifth player, Ty Russell. And they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and just trying to figure out what is the right recipe for victory here in this particular week, this particular game. This is what they've been vying for all season. And you know that Brent Pierce and Jeff Richard, along with their front end, are going to have something to say about because they've got a lot of experience to draw on, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, who gets ahead here in this game because I think that's going to be a big difference is who can get a little bit of an edge over the other team here early.
So another great shot there made by Jeff
Nice.
Richard. And as you said, Melissa, it's been pretty much all makes so far. It is the Islanders sitting one, but it's in a precarious red sandwich here. So we'll see what Jay Wakefield calls.
Could also. What's that?
Their double's pretty easy right now.
I know. But there's no, like, what do we do with this? Have to roll in there, and it's easy then, too.
Do we try the same thing we just played?
Well, yeah, that's not bad. If we tap it there, this is still easy, but like we might roll this one and try to unlock that. Okay. Like back line.
Back 12.
So good conversation there between Corey and Jay. They're just going to throw about back 12 weight, try and get into that red pile and just unlock the stone that's at the back, I believe the blue stone. Try and move things around a little bit, change the angles to their advantage.
Paul Cseke trying to bring this over. Weight looks good, but they want to get to the face of that red one. And it will just spill off, and maybe a triple here for Team Richard, Melissa.
Oh boy, I think it might be there as well, John.
I don't know. But what else are we going to do? We do something? Wow. That's not very good to go like this.
Yeah, and if it ever does this, Brent, it just goes here and it rolls right out. Like, I could never stuff it there anyway.
So you like this, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably thin enough, I get this too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay.
Quarter?
Yeah, quarter for sure. Quarter, yeah.
Okay, it looks like they're looking to hit about a quarter of the stone that's sitting in the top four right in front of us there. And they're hoping, I think Jeff saw that, you know, I think they're hoping to get all three blue stones moving. We'll just see where about, you know, it's pretty close. I think all three will go.
Well, we'll see if they do. Jeff Richard trying to get some blues on the move.
Wow, what a
like
shot.
That, all three of them go, and without the hammer, Team Richard lying 3 here in the first.
What a shot by Jeff. That is a beauty. So no real other opportunity here. I think you see Jay asking Corey to run this red one in or at least peel it off. They have no access to those two stones on the forefoot right now.
So they will run it past, and the Islanders in some early trouble here, Melissa.
And it didn't look like that. We were just saying to ourselves, John, that you know, the first 5 or 6 stones were made absolutely perfect, but just that half miss there on the blue stone just set Jeff Richard up for that difficult triple, but he made no mistake in making it. So great job there, and unfortunately missed the run back here on Corey's second stone. So Team Cseke in a bit of trouble here in this first end.
So Brent Pierce will like the look of the house right now. Gonna just try and get up a guard here without the hammer and lying 3 here in the first. We talked yesterday, Melissa, Brent Pierce's first provincial final 32 years ago. He was 19 years old in 1990, lost the final there to Craig Lapine. But speaks to Brent's longevity in the sport here in BC.
Oh, that's
32
just
years apart. It's crazy.
It is crazy, but very cool. What a stat.
Coming in here somewhere if we make that.
So what does Paul Cseke do here? He can try and run this red stone and
Do this.
maybe
Yeah, that's what I'd try.
move some of those rocks around.
You could play it this way, right?
Do you ever freeze to the one that's back button?
Intern?
Pretty risky.
Yeah, I like the hit. I think
I think
if you
so.
make the freeze, it's great, but Brent still might have a shot at it. Might have a slash, and if you don't make the freeze, you're almost certainly giving up a steal of a multiple. So I like this call, especially in the first.
I agree. Paul Cseke with really trying to grab another stone on his way by here. Wants to clear up that forefoot if he can on his first.
So huge shot here for Paul Cseke in the first end. Needs to get some reds moving. And he will. What a shot.
Wow.
Oh
Paul
my
Cseke.
goodness. Find your way into the game. How about Paul? His first shot of the
No
game and
kidding.
makes a beautiful run back double. My
He makes it,
goodness.
whatever. I mean, want to
Why
give him
not?
an easy point? He doesn't have an easy point right now. Oh, that's pretty good.
Are you not worried about?
So even though Paul made that great shot, Melissa, still looking like he may give up a steal here if Brent Pierce can get this in the right spot.
And the conversation between Brent and Jeff was, you know, I think Brent wants to just put one top 4, top 8. Make it as difficult as possible if Paul chooses to draw. And I think the reason Jeff
same
didn't
weight
like that as much is because he thinks that Paul might have an in off that redstone. But I think if Richard is sitting 2, Jeff Richard's team is sitting 2 after this, he's not going to ignore that. He's happy to give up 1 because he's been in trouble this whole end, or this last half of the end. You know, he's not going to take any risks, in my opinion, to give up a potential steal of 2. So we'll just see where Brent ends up putting this stone.
So this is a little light here.
Clean. Just
Brent
clean it,
mentioned
clean it,
maybe there was
clean it.
something under it, and
Clean
it
it.
comes up quite short.
I think it.
So-
Pretty sure it's picked right away.
So Paul will have the opportunity here to either draw for 1 or maybe play this in off for 2. But I don't think he's even looking at the in off. And
No.
you know, yeah, you don't want to give up a steal here. So
I think this will be close, Paul. We can hold it too. Yep.
15, eh?
Considering a minute ago, I think Paul was looking at potentially
You
giving
want
up a
less,
steal
Paul?
of more than 1. He'd be very happy
want less?
to take his 1 here in the first.
15. Same speed as you were throwing yesterday. Yeah.
Just confirmation on the wait. It's 15 seconds. Very nice ice from hog to hog. So great speed here for this championship final.
So Paul Cseke under a little bit of pressure here in the first, alleviated some of it on his first stone, looking to fully release the valve
Mine's
here.
good. Mine's a bit tight.
Needs a
Pretty close.
piece of the button for 1.
Yep. To it. Line's good. To it. Line's good. Yep. Line.
Corey and Ryan liking the wait.
Hard line.
It's all about the line now. Have to get to the face of that red stone.
Hard line for backing.
It's over curling a little bit here. Got to make sure they get it there. And they will. So a great couple of
Boy.
shots for Paul Cseke. And he will save his team there. They put 1 on the board, but we'll get our first look with Richard having the hammer when we come back. You're watching the BC Provincial Men's Championships live on Cseke.
Looks a bit tight to me.
Yeah, line's tight.
Just let it sit.
Where's Jake?
Tight would be good. It's going to over curl here. Okay, that's good.
That was good ice, Jay. I was tight.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back. It's a sunny Sunday afternoon here in Kamloops, BC. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Curling Final. The Islanders, Paul Cseke against Team Jeff Richard, John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And Melissa, even though it was maybe not the full start that the Islanders had hoped for, getting themselves into a little bit of trouble, it's got to be a lot of confidence gained for Paul Cseke there, making two huge shots.
Oh, I think so. That's a great point, John. You know, both teams started the end very, very well, as we saw, and just a couple of maybe half shots. And the way that Paul ended that by throwing that first one and clearing the house pretty much, and then making a perfect draw to the button on his second, that's got to give him and his team a full slate of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Melissa, we sometimes talk about a skip's deuce, where both of the skips rocks end up being the ones that count. And I just got a good text from my former skip Dean Jonice in the break saying that if there was ever a such thing as a skip single, that might have been it from Paul there, as he was responsible for digging his team out of that hole.
Absolutely, that's a really great point. So nice shots there from Ryan. You heard Ryan give Jay some feedback there, just saying he was tight, like the ice was good and he was tight on his first, and that's where the guard ended up. And so unfortunately on his second, though, maybe just a couple feet heavy. He'd love to have been T-line or a little above. So chance now for Nick Meister to draw in on top of that blue stone.
Yeah, one thing these Islanders are really good at is communication, and of course all teams at this level are. The Team Richard team is as well, but one thing I really wanted to point out was at the end of last end, when Paul was getting ready to throw that draw, Ryan Cassidy referenced a shot or a path that they would have played yesterday. So they played the 1-2 game on this sheet yesterday, and I know from playing with Paul for almost a decade, that is actually how he loves to get his information. So he likes a hog-to-hog time as well. But one thing he loves is to have specific reference made to past shots. He's got a great memory for shots he's played. and he loves to get that kind of information. So I'm sure we'll hear that a few more times from the front end throughout this game.
You, big.
And a
and
nice
I
shot
think
there
they
from Jay Wakefield.
just overswept it, actually. Ryan was on it for the majority of the way down, and they didn't switch sweepers till about hog line, and unfortunately couldn't save the shooter.
Maybe a little big.
And there's the feedback, just a little big, so maybe just a titch too much weight. So opportunity now for Jared. Would love to get this one buried in behind.
No.
Jared Colomea, of course, living in BC now, but grew up in Manitoba. We learned yesterday, Melissa, that he grew up in the small town of St. Martin, Manitoba, and grew up actually curling on a natural ice curling rink. So that might be why he's such a good hitter. It's usually pretty hard to throw draws on natural ice. I've only played on it a few times, and it's not the most fun I've ever had. So Jay looking to freeze here, and we'll talk about how both teams got to this final. As Stacy mentioned off the top of the show, and very similar to our ladies' side of this, the BC Scotties, the only losses that Team Richard have are to the Islanders. They lost to them twice in both the A final 8-2 and then the 1-2 game yesterday 7-6. But otherwise, they are a perfect 5-0. They started out the tournament with an 8-6 win over Josh Kennelly. Then they beat Rob Nobert and Sebastian Robillard 7-1 and 9-2 respectively. And then they have 2 wins over defending champion Jim Cotter, beating him in the B final 7-6, and then in the semifinal last night
I like good
7-5.
Okay, board.
And these Islanders are, of course, running a perfect 5-0 record into this final. They beat Mitchell Kapitko 10-3 in the first game, Jim Cotter 9-8 in their second game. Then they knocked off #1 seed Tyler Tardy 10-6 before beating Richard 8-2 in the A final, and then 7-6 yesterday in the 1-2 game.
So a nice shot there by Jay Wakefield, as you see as we come into the rings there. He was maybe ever so slightly heavy, and it didn't give the sweepers a chance to finish that stone. So Jared could almost see all of that, and he was just throwing about a board weight, but unfortunately,
Make this
again,
double.
maybe a little on the heavy side.
I kind
And
of
he
think
hit it
just
on the
normal.
wrong side of the rock there. So chance now, I think, for Corey Chester to potentially make this double.
Down through, buddy. You got it.
So third, Corey Chester,
Whoa.
looking for the double here.
Ryan.
It's Corey Chester,
Hard,
not
Ryan.
Cody Chester.
Hard!
Gotta get this to curl. And unfortunately, it will not get that red out of the house. And now Team Richard can hit this blue one and lie 3.
Yeah, mistake there from Corey for sure. I'm not sure. I don't think the weight was bad. They didn't seem to think it was up by any means, but we're not able to get it to curl enough. So great chance here now for Jeff and his team to lie 3.
Easy control.
Yep. Hard, Jared. Really hard. Get straight.
Sweepers on it right away.
Hard, Jared. Right do it.
Can they get it out? They can. So an unforced error there from Jeff
Wow.
Richard.
Oh, I didn't think you were too light.
Jared Colomea trying to hold it straight, but he cannot. And so maybe
Control?
the Islanders dodging a bullet there.
Big control.
Oh, I think so. And,
Down and through, buddy. You got it.
you know, the feedback from Jared, they didn't think he was too light, but they swept that the whole way and just could not hold it for Jeff. So,
Good.
Close. Yep. Hold.
no chance here now for Corey
Right.
to hit and stick, or maybe roll a little to the inside.
I would love
Like
an
that?
inside roll here.
Oh, that's a beauty.
And what a comeback throw for Corey Chester after the miss on his first. Puts that one in a great spot.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that for sure. So Jeff Richard now
He can never like
just
lose
having a
back
look to
there,
see
right?
how much he can see of that blue stone. If you can see a piece, they can throw about hack weight.
So
back
big
on.
shot
See
here
very
for
much of
Jeff
it, John.
Richard. Yeah, not much at all.
Yes!
Big shot here. And once again, sweepers on it right away.
Straight, hard! Hard!
Nick Meister just grinding into this stone, trying to get it around these guards.
Hard!
And they will
what
unfortunately
rushing, but
rack on that top one. Yeah, great
they
sweeping
just
from Nick
can't. I
Meister.
mean, you got two of the best sweepers right there, and they couldn't hold it. So great rushing, but unfortunately, as you say, John, just hits that one at the top. So big change the way in this end right now. It was all Team Richard for the first half, and now an opportunity for Team Cseke to lie too. If she ever gets the hit and roll here,
You got it, Paul.
Brent Pierce and his team in a little bit of trouble.
So Paul Czeke's first here in the second end, looking for a hit and roll.
Like bumper. Oh, close, close. Corey. Curl, big. Oh, Ryan. Oh, Corey. Corey, go. Corey, go.
I'd love to get a little flip under if they can.
You can hear the frustration from Paul there as it just doesn't quite get the finish they wanted. And so now Brent Pierce will have a chance to make a double to lie two here, Melissa.
Yeah, it looks like Brent just has to hit this just off the nose and should be able to make the double and get his shooter to roll to the open wing.
Just sliver high.
That's about
7/8.
6.75 maybe.
Yeah.
So it's been a back and forth end, and it could once again swing back in the favor of Team Richard if Brent Pierce can make this shot. Looking for a double to lie to.
Little firm. Little firm.
Hard!
Sweepers on this right away. And he will only find the nose, so it continues to be the Islanders sitting one here without hammer.
We talk about options, opportunities, and precision, I guess, and you know, we look back at the first rock there by Paul Cseke. Was really looking for that hit and roll, didn't want to leave that stone there, and opened up the door ever so slightly for Brent Pierce, but unfortunately for Brent, he couldn't get the double, so now swings back into the favor, as you say, for Paul Cseke here, and he would love to get a hit and roll under
How far are we trying to roll?
under that blue guard, and if not, even a little bit further, just to try and put some pressure back on Brent Pierce and his last stone in the second end. So again, it's about the inches, it's about, you know, the communication between the brushers and the person in the house to try and make this shot as perfect as possible.
Little softer. Little less. Whoa. Less. Whoa. Close. Yep.
Corey Chester on it now. Trying to hold it straight. Don't want to roll too far.
Oh my.
And that is a huge miss from Paul Cseke. Brent Pierce now has an open hit for three.
Yeah.
You heard Ryan say right out of his hand that it was light, but they weren't sweeping it. They weren't panicking at all there, John, so just not sure exactly what happened there.
So huge opportunity here for Brent Pierce early. Has an open hit for three.
Just hack. Just hack.
Hard!
Clean it.
And Brent Pierce makes no mistake, so a big miss from Paul Cseke will put 3 up on the board for Team Richard. And they will take a 3-1 lead into the third end. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships live on Czeke.
Soft right now.
Hard! Like tight too. Hard, Jared! Quicker! Quicker! Hard! Keep it going, guys. Keep it going.
We're really tight right now. We're in.
Go ahead. Go. Keep going.
Okay, that's fine. Just the hair soft. Yeah.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships. You're watching the final between the Islanders, Team Paul Cseke against Team Jeff Richard.
I think it's okay.
And Melissa, we just saw a pretty big turnaround there at the end of that end. Paul Cseke with a chance to make a hit and roll and maybe put pressure on Team Richard for a steal. And instead he makes a huge mistake, and Brent Pierce puts that on the board, and it is now a 3-1 lead for Team Richard.
And I would think
Whatever
that,
you like.
you know, that shot is probably a little deflating for Paul simply because it was an open hit and roll. And I just think it was miscommunicated. That the brusher said right away that it was light out of his hand, but there wasn't any panic. And unfortunately, it just overcurled and missed it. So great chance, no mistake made there by Brent Pierce to put his 3 on the board, but that is a huge differential in the scoreboard right now.
Well, it's interesting, Melissa. We saw a similar situation yesterday in the first end. Paul had a shot for 4, and he missed it. And it ended up giving the Team Richard a steal of 1. And so that was a 5-point swing, and we might have potentially seen a 4 or 5-point swing there, where if Paul had made that shot, might have gotten the steal, and instead Richard gets 3. Yesterday, Cseke was able to rebound from that. We'll see if they're able to do the same thing here today, but you got to think if you're Jeff Richard, you're loving this start.
Oh, absolutely. I would fully agree with that. And I think for Team Cseke, you know, it's all about putting that one behind you and just worrying about what's in front of you. And, you know, they've been working really hard on the mental side of the game, so that's what they'll be doing. But for Team Richard, you got to believe that you have some momentum now, and you feel like you've got those guys a little bit on the rope simply by getting that big, huge 3 on the board. Nice shot here.
Good shot from Ryan Cassidy. Gets that one buried behind the corner guard, and you can see there it's over buried. So Brent asking Jared to just draw down onto the corner of that rock that was just thrown. And as you're watching this game, we also have a raffle happening. The Kamloops Curling Club hoping to offset some of the costs of this provincial event and have some great cash prizes available. If you want to head on over to kamloopscurlingclub.rafflenexus.com, you can buy your tickets and both help support the Kamloops Curling Club and maybe win $500. So it's a pretty good deal all around. So head on over to kamloopscurlingclub.rafflenexus.com. And a nice shot there from Jared Colomea, Melissa, but I do believe the blue rock out counting the one he just threw.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shot. If they were calling for the freeze, they would have loved to have been able to show a piece of it so that maybe Jared would have another chance to play the red onto blue. So because it comes up or over curls, pardon me, just ever so much, there's a chance here now for Jay to draw to the Nick Meister stone that's sitting in the back 8. And if you look for Team Richard, for Nick Meister, his first one, as you see there, just barely bites the top 12, and the second one, pardon me, goes deep. Not the greatest spots for the lead, but you know, Brent's going to try and make sure he can use them as much as possible. But a nice shot there by Jay.
Almost
we
the same
hear,
way.
we got Ryan Cassidy mic'd up, and he likes to keep things light out there. I believe he just described himself as having the body of a demigod. So I've never seen him with his shirt off, so I can't confirm or deny that, but he has been doing some phenomenal sweeping this week.
Ton of room right now.
So Jared now trying to follow that Jay Wakefield stone down.
Hard boys! Go! Get shot!
And nice shot there from Jared
Nice
Colomea.
shot.
Doesn't quite get to the blue, Melissa, but I mean, that's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I would agree. And you heard Jared say get shot, and that was the #1 key there. It is fully buried.
You got it, Jane.
So I think for Paul Cseke asking Jay Wakefield now to try and run that red rock that's top 12, run that one back. Would love to roll their shooter, John, over to the right-hand side and keep it in play. As you can tell by the nice soft weight that they're throwing.
Really good throw from Jay Wakefield there. Does roll it onto the rings, but it is still Jeff Richard with the shot stone without hammer here in the third. So they're just going to replace that here, I think.
Yeah, Jeff Richard being asked to throw a nice tight guard.
Keep it straight.
Probably gotta go
straight.
for tight.
Straight. Straight. Get line to it. Line. Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Straight. Okay. Whoa. Clean. Yep. Hard, Jared. Hard, Jared. Hard. Every inch. Jared. Every inch. Good. Great.
A nice shot there from Jeff Richard.
That's what I'm thinking. Try and get it across this way, roll to a corner.
Gotcha. Yeah. Down and through, buddy. You got it.
So Corey Chester looking to run this one back and get rid of both of those reds that are crowding the forefoot.
I would love to try and catch one of those red stones in the rings.
So they won't make it the way they wanted to, but they do move that red off the forefoot. So I guess not a bad result for the Islanders there, Melissa.
Not too bad. You know, they do move shot stone, as you say, and then they expose it over right in the middle over there.
Same way?
But for Jeff Richard now, a great chance here.
Well, freeze. He might be able to poke it out.
Whatever you like.
You want to come take a look?
They're worried that if they freeze to that blue zone that's just back 4, that Team Czeke may have a flat double on
Top
that
button's
rock
pretty good
that's
with your
just
out,
sitting
Jeff.
on the back
Well,
8 right there.
We're probably better off being on. I mean, we don't really want to be like say here and he makes this quiet thing and rolls over here. We almost want to be maybe here, where this could happen.
I guess if I ever get into here,
It's pretty good.
even there,
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
that's okay because
Yeah.
No, the only thing is he's coming down here and then he makes a little tap and sits.
yeah, I don't think there's one team on too much of that.
Top.
I think this is the shot.
Okay, so which turn you want? Doesn't matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, get out to it.
Yeah, like top button here is pretty good.
So Melissa, I think they were just deciding the best spot to put this so that the Islanders won't have a chance to maybe
White to white.
lie to under some cover, I think.
I think so, and I think there's a little bit of tolerance for Jeff here on this shot. They talked about maybe top 4 being shot rock, even top button buried is a pretty good shot. If they're a little bit deeper, that's not bad either. It kind of negates that blue stone that's back 4, but they're worried that there might be a soft double or even a tap and roll for the Islanders. So just being very, very cautious as to where to put this stone, but
Coming down.
Get ready, Nick. Get ready, Nick. No, no, no. No, 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 no.
Real nice.
and that
That's
is
just
perfect.
Yeah, just about right where they wanted it.
Yeah.
Pretty tough. Like, yeah, I think we got to run. But, yeah, we can.
Okay.
Like, kind of weight do you want? Control?
Well, yeah, control.
Okay.
Down and through, buddy. You
So what's the idea here, Melissa, behind throwing this control? Usually when we think of run backs, we think of throwing a screamer.
Well, the Islanders team, they're very, very good at throwing that softer weight, and the reason they do that is to bring their sweepers into play much more for every single shot, especially these even run backs. So they've got the ability to have these brushers, and they want to use them. But this one looks like it might overcurl a little.
Does, but again, not a bad plan
Not
B.
too bad.
I think they would have loved if it could have been third shot, but it will roll a little bit too far, and so it remains Jeff Richards sitting 1 here.
Yeah. That might not be that good.
ever
Makes
freeze
sense.
the blue?
It's got to probably be out here, eh? Overcurl is not bad though. I think maybe there.
Fine.
Yeah, bite center.
That's such a good point you make, John, that most teams like to throw that high hard one to make those run backs and make some rock spill, but they didn't really need to make a lot of rock spill. They were just trying to get one to go. And it's really important to bring your sweepers into those kinds of shots and roll to specific specific areas, that kind of thing. And that's what the Islanders have been practicing, using that nice softer weight to bring those sweepers into play.
So Brent Pierce sitting 1 here,
Tight right now.
Right off then. Right off the minute.
looking to guard.
Nick, clean. Nick.
Clean, clean.
So chance here for Brent to put a cap on that stone.
Hard Nick. Whoa. Clean, clean, clean. Yep, 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 yep.
And he will. Nice spot.
Really nice.
I was thinking about that. How much of that can you see? Probably not much, eh?
It's dead buried.
So no.
It's actually overburied with the outturn.
But you're just going to leave your shooter there. Probably have to run.
That was my first thought. Well, it's
I wonder if you ever take a chance at it though now,
even if you get
John.
this
You're not going to get a lot of opportunities, obviously, with only 2 rocks left, and Brent Pierce putting that perfect guard on. Do you ever throw the tap? They played this run back, I don't know, about 4 times so far, so it looks like that's what they're going to choose to do.
Can we not come?
You only have to move that redstone back about 3 feet to out
You got
count.
it. Cross it a bit, same way Corey was trying.
But again, they've seen this line numerous times, so this is what they've chosen to do, and
You got it, Paul.
I like this as well.
You got it. Nice and clean, buddy.
So big shot here for Paul. Jeff Richard has the shot stone and needs to make a run back to get rid of it here.
Yep. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Cassidy on it right away. And did
Oh,
they
they
oversweep
overswept
it?
it.
They did.
Wow.
It's a couple rocks in a row now where they haven't quite got the sweeping right. And so now Brent Pierce will just put that guard back, and Paul's going to have a hard time scoring.
Same thing.
Yeah. So you gotta watch it. Somebody's, yeah, there's a bunch of shit right in front of there.
We said it in a previous telecast that when you're a skip and you're throwing guards, you know that you're doing something right. So a fantastic opportunity here now for Brent Pierce to just duplicate the guard that he just threw and try and make Paul Cseke find a way to score.
Weight's good, same weight, a little less.
So final stone here for Brent Pierce, just looking to guard his shot rock.
Lead it. Yep, gotta go. Hey, you gotta make it curl. You gotta make it curl. Hard hit. Hard every inch, every inch, every inch, every inch. Every inch, 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 every inch.
I think
Some
Brent wanted that
encouragement
to
there.
curl every inch, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, just a guess. So now it's up to Paul to see if
You
he
like
can
this, Corey?
maybe manufacture a 2 here. It's like they're
Yeah,
trying to
do
see
you- do you
Melissa. I
think
think
you
if they
can
can
tap it?
slash something in here.
Probably
I
not.
think
Pretty
so.
tight
I,
guard.
I
You
know
might
it's a
be able to
tight
do it if
guard,
he's
but I
skinny.
feel like the tap might be there for 1 anyways, maybe not for 2.
Do you like it, Paul? Do you, this probably goes, yeah.
But you don't want to go like this, obviously. Right?
Yeah. What do you think that's easier than the top?
Pretty close. Yeah. This is fresh enough here too. We might be able to get it moving, right? Yeah. Right. Does the tap look there from down that side?
I thought it was there on the last one.
Not, but
So I guess they're deciding here whether they want to play the out-turn tap or maybe a run back that
And
might
would you
be
be trying
for
to make it over top of
3
the
if you hit
blue
it in
to
the
send
right
blue
spot.
back?
yeah.
Okay. I think you can make either, Paul.
What do you see? Okay.
I like.
And that's the question right there that Jay asked. What do you see as the
okay.
skip? You're the
I mean,
one
you
who's
gotta
throwing
lose
this.
that across the top of the blue, though.
This is not easy by any means. I mean, the tap's not easy either, for sure,
I'm
but
so confident I can get
tap's
the shot.
likely
We could've-
only for
like,
1.
We could have made that tap on the first one.
This might be for 2. I'm not sure he can get 3.
There. Yeah. Yes, it's all about making curling shots. So.
Yeah, this was the first shot that Paul saw and seems to like it. He's just throwing normal here, so
Good spot.
they know they'll lose that 1 blue for sure. It's just if they can also lose that back red to bring that other blue into play for second
buddy.
shot.
Okay.
So a big shot here for Paul Cseke. If he doesn't make this, he will be down at least 1 more point. Final stone.
Oh. Yep. Oh. Yep. Yes. Yes. Hard.
And how
Oh
about
my
that?
goodness.
What a shot from Paul Cseke. Gets a little friendly Kamloops kiss off his own, but he will stick in there for 2. My goodness, Paul Cseke with a few absolute beauties to start this game. And we are tied up at 3. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships live on Cseke.
Line's good. No, line's pretty good. Looks like it's slowing down. Let's go over curling.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Curling Final. The Islanders against Team Richard. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And Melissa, I think we're both trying to catch our breath here as we're going to take one more look at this shot from Paul Cseke. Makes a slash run back, gets a little kiss off of his own, gets rid of the red shot stone, and scores 2. Just a phenomenal shot from Paul Cseke.
I like the way.
Well, most definitely that was a game saver, as you said, John. If he doesn't make that and doesn't score that in, it's a steal on the board for Team Richard. So that would have been a big point on the board. So instead of being down 3, he's tied by that great shot. So fantastic job there by Paul. He's probably going to look back at it and say, if I only hit it a little thinner, I might have got 3. But fantastic.
I mean, I think he's going to look back on it and go, oh my God. I can't believe we made that. And like we said, Melissa, it's something we've brought up all week here on commentary, that sometimes in this game, it might not be the shot you want to throw. The rest of the team, I should say, we heard Ryan Cassidy talking with Corey. It seemed like they preferred the tap, but Paul was locked into that slash run right from the time the Richard Stone came to rest. And sometimes you just have to trust your skip in that situation.
That's right. It is about trusting your skip, and also, and like I said, if Jay said to Paul, if this is what you see, this is what we play, and that's what he saw, and that's what he wanted to play, and he bought in 100%. So fantastic job there by the team, and for the sweepers to get on board as well, right? It's all about making that as a team shot, and they did a terrific job.
We're back 8.
So really nice shot by Nick Meister on his first, coming in behind that center guard, thrown by Team Cseke. And now his second shot here, he's just trying to get T-line back 8. Wants to prevent any hit and roll. That's a good spot.
Yeah, really good spot. It sits down for second shot as well. And Melissa, we're tied 3-3, and I don't usually update the stats until after the 5th end break, but I would just like to point out that not only is the game tied 3-3, but but both teams are curling exactly 84.375% right now. So when
That
it's
is-
down to 3 decimal places, you know that
Yes.
we got a good game on our hands here.
I love it.
And a nice shot there from Jay Wakefield. And a shout out to Will Sutton and the Curl BC stats crew for continuing to keep us updated on those stats. And as I said, we'll have some more detailed ones for you after the 5th end break.
Nice shot there by Jared, just trying to roll a little bit away from the center line. Doesn't want to give a hit and roll it back to Team Cseke, as you can see there.
Still. Yeah. More.
So an exchange of hits here to see who can get the roll which way first. John, I think if Jay makes a perfect hit and roll here, we may see Brent walk up and try and peel that center guard. But this has to be perfect.
Needed to sit down, and I think that might be open. Hard to say. We'll have to see it from the front here, but a nice try from Jay Wakefield. Yeah, there we go. Good look there. Almost fully poked out the other side. So a little unlucky there for Jay. Just about made it. Jay is the one player on the Islanders who does not live on the island. Longtime resident of Maple Ridge, BC, curling out of the Golden Ears Winter Club. And they're all over this out of Jared's hand. They really need this one to stick. And it will. So another great sweep from Nick Meister. Getting that by the pile, and Team Richard continues to lie too, Melissa.
I mean, either that or we try and play hack and get there too. His was busting. Right. What do you see? I like freeze.
Yep. I think it's still 15 out here, buddy. Same draws you've been throwing. Okay, you got it, buddy.
So great shot there by Jared, as you saw, and he would have loved to have rolled that away. This leaves the opportunity now for Team Cseke to freeze to the face of that stone. I'm not sure. Again, I'd have to look at the overhead to see whether they would be shot if they freeze. I think they might be.
Yeah, I think they'll be shot. They got to freeze to the face of it, though.
You have to be right
This
on the
looks
top.
like a
This
little
looks
heavy.
I agree. It's got a
So-
curl as well.
Just a little bit heavy there from Corey, and yet another opportunity here for Team Richard to lie 3 with the hammer.
Board. That's minimum for Roy.
How much more do you want?
Yep.
We got a nice
Good hack. Good.
live burp from Brent Pierce there. So Jeff Richard looking to just hit this blue stone and roll off to lie 3.
Any roll. Okay, that's fine.
And it
Pretty
won't
good
roll
shot there by
away,
Jeff.
but-
Yeah, but
exactly,
they
great shot.
really didn't want to stay there, John. This might give Team Czech a small window of hope here. Corey Chester just on the wrong side of the inch so far this game. Needs to make this one.
Yeah, this could be their last opportunity to get in behind those guards. So big one here from Corey Chester.
Hard, Ryan! Hard, Ryan! Hard! Anything, Paul.
Will they get any roll? They'll get just a little bit, but they are shot rock now. But I think it'll still be accessible for Jeff Richard.
I think so. And now, if Jeff can ever flip under himself, I think it'll be above the tee line for one thing. And I think that
This will be good.
I'm not sure what Team Czeke would do unless they are able to run their blue onto blue. So a little less room there now for Jeff to flip underneath, but it's still there.
A little less.
He's throwing a nice
Little
hack
less.
weight.
Leave it. Less. Less weight. Back line. Back line. Back line.
I hear Jared saying back line. Really nice
Really
shot.
good shot from Jeff Richard. He's brought his A game here today, and whenever you hear that whoa off, whoa off, whoa off, that's always a good sign, and that's in a really tricky spot.
Try and rip one. Then he's gonna probably come around or go over there. Or
Where do you think he's coming? He's going the wing probably, right?
probably, yeah.
He's probably coming like this.
Yeah.
And then probably hitting roll to get well, he's
Well, we have, I mean, yeah, we'll have to hit and roll unless we want to risk the freeze or risk the draw, right?
so if we run, what's the best
Run best result is we nail the 5 right there and make that double, but it's probably going to be open. He hits, and then we have another double.
right.
If we,
Kind of seeing the run. What are you guys seeing?
yep.
Yeah.
Out turn. Yeah, it'll curl a smidge. Yeah.
So the Islanders here really forcing Skip Paul Czeke into a lot of difficult shots here so far, Melissa.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. You know, I mentioned it in the previous end when your Skip is throwing guards on their shots. Obviously, your third is doing something right, and unfortunately here for Paul Czeke, he's been throwing runbacks and angle, raised takeouts and things like that. So, you know, that just speaks to maybe Corey Chester just not quite getting his rocks in the right place, making half shots here. So huge shot here for Paul Czeke to try and get his team out of trouble.
Whoa. Ryan. Ryan.
We'll see if he can do it again. My
Oh,
goodness,
wow.
Paul
Oh
Czeke.
my goodness.
You want to talk about being dialed in. What a phenomenal shot from Paul, and he sticks it right there. And now it's the Islanders' lying shot. And it's almost fully buried.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably make this with hack through the hole.
Oh. Yeah. You probably could.
What a tremendous shot by Paul. My
I
goodness,
don't hate the
right,
double either.
John.
That's fine. Whatever you like.
That too, but double's no good either. I said if I don't think the double's no good either.
Yeah.
I got 2. Oh, yeah. I kind of like this shot. I guess he could actually just hook everything and then be a steal anyways, right? He might do that.
I'll give it a go. That's fine.
That's pretty good. It looks pretty natural.
I mean, if we chip that one and we roll in over here, it's not terrible, is it? So hack weight? Like just nice hack. What do you think about right there? I think right there is pretty good.
Got to get fairly tight to the left side to. Well, we just got to watch the jam at the back then.
So Brent Pierce, I think, Melissa, just playing hack weight down to this.
Yeah, Jared pointed this out right from the get-go. He says it looks very natural, and we've seen this shot numerous times with that nice hack weight. It comes in, and if he could ever just push that shot stone out of the rings and roll in behind that blue rock that's top 12, he'll be lying to and potentially setting himself up here for a deuce.
Good hack.
Whoa. Whoa. Up.
Trying to get it through the hole. Can they get by that guard? They do. Will it get that rock out for second
What
shot?
a shot.
It just does. Fantastic touch from Brent Pierce, and it is once again Team Richard lying 2 with the hammer.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
If that's easier, then can't get low on that.
Can't get, oh, no, can't get low. Got to slash it if you're going to play it.
I think it'll, this is gonna try.
What's going to try? Oh, yeah, should. A smidge.
Yeah.
I think it'll behave similar to what that did, no?
No, I think it'll come out.
Okay.
So Paul Cseke looking to once again reach into his bag of tricks,
I would say
trying
yeah,
to make a
2/3.
run double here, and this one's no gimme, Melissa.
Is he playing the run double, or is he playing this just the slash double?
Or sorry, slash double. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And I say just.
Yeah,
This
just
is a
the
very
slash
difficult
double,
shot.
casual.
Yeah. You know, he'd love to make this and force Team Richard to take a single here in the 4th inning, which you never would have expected a couple of rocks ago.
So big shot here for Paul Cseke once again. Can he make the double? He cannot. So the magic runs out there a little bit for Paul. Got really close, but a draw for 2 for Team Richard. And really, Melissa, the Islanders probably happy just not to give up 3 there. They were looking in huge trouble before Paul's first.
Nice here.
I agree. Absolutely. They were in a ton of trouble. So I think they should be very grateful for only potentially giving up 2 here. And for Team Cseke, just need to sharpen up ever so slightly, especially at the 3rd position. You know, Jeff Richard is curling fantastic right now, and Corey needs to challenge him a bit more.
So another
great
fantastic
chance.
end. Yeah, sorry, just going to say a fantastic end from Team Richard once again. They've gone 7 for 7 so far. Brent looking to make it 8 for 8.
Heavy. Weight's good. Heavy.
Right on the tee line.
Wait. Yeah.
Yep.
Got to get by this guard, though. You got to get by this guard. And they do. Oh, my goodness. Now are they in for second shot?
What great
They are.
brushing.
Once again, Nick Meister. That guard coming into play, but Nick Meister saves it for Brent Pierce and his team. They'll put another 2 on the board. It is 5-3 for Team Richard. We'll be back with the 5th end right after this. Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Final. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo with you here on Czeke and CBCSports.ca. And Melissa, it was once again a phenomenal end from Team Richard, making all 8 of their shots, and Paul Cseke had to make another 5-alarm shot just to prevent his team from giving up more than 2, but it is Jeff Richard leading 5-3.
Oh, Team Richard is just playing outstanding thus far, these first 4 ends, and they are putting their rocks in such great places and putting tons of pressure on their opposition, and that's what you need to do. This back end of Brent and Jeff have not missed very many, if at all.
Actually, Nick.
Yeah, as we get a look at Nick Meister, and we were talking in the break, Melissa, just making a few shots almost by himself. Brent's last draw, I don't think they really needed to get anywhere near that sort of corner guard there, but it really broke on them, and Nick was able to save it for them and get them there too.
Oh, outstanding. Just incredible sweeping by Nick Meister. He's made a lot of shots out there this week.
Yeah, both Jeff and Brent throw a little bit of a softer release with a little less rotation, and that can be very effective. It can allow them to get to spots on the ice that other players cannot, but it does also put a lot of the onus on the sweepers to help them keep those rocks straight, and Nick and Jared both have been phenomenal all week for them.
They really have.
Close for line. Yep.
So 2 great shots there by Nick Meister, and
Line's good.
Ryan Cassidy trying to follow him in.
Move it a hair. Yep, gotta keep the line. Hard. Shot.
Nice shot from Ryan Cassidy.
Well done.
Never missed a shot. Draw weight. It's in my pocket.
So Ryan Cassidy there, you hear him saying he's never missed a shot, and he's almost good for his word, currently curling 97% through 4 ends. And he made both of his shots there, so that number is probably closer to 98.5.
Hard, boys.
Trying to set up this angle here.
Real good.
Really nice shot by Jared.
Nice shot from Jared Colomea.
Speed's the same.
We talked earlier about the Brier experience of Jeff and Brent. Brent's been to the Brier 3 times, and of course winning it in 2000, and Jeff's been twice. And for Jared and Nick and for the entire Islanders team, this would be their first trip, so lots on the line here in the final.
Good then. Hard then. Get it there.
Heard the Brushers saying this is top 12. They really want to go here.
Get it there.
Looks a little better than top 12. They can get it right to the face of that red stone.
Good scrub, guys.
Really good sweeping from Cassidy and Chester, and they'll get that Wakefield rock in a pretty good spot, Melissa.
There's a really good look at it.
Yeah, it looks similar to the line of rocks we saw in the first end, and we know how that went. Paul Cseke in that end as well had to make a really good shot for 1, so we'll see if the angles will once again favor Team Richard.
And you can see there that they're double guarding. They're in a very comfortable position. It's going to take at least, I would think, 2 rocks for something to happen here for Team Cseke. So nice shot there by Jared.
So Jay will try and run this one into the pile here.
Scoring. Big.
And unfortunately, we'll run that right through the hole. So it continues to be Team Richard lying 1 with the hammer. Well, sorry, without the hammer, rather.
It's nice.
John, I don't know about you, but I feel like Team Richard has been throwing a lot of guards this game so far, and Team Czeke more the runbacks and the angle doubles and things like that, and that just goes to show. It shows on the scoreboard as well with that 2-point lead.
Down and through, buddy. You got it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a game of chase here for the Islanders, and you know, teams always talk about not wanting to be the team that's chasing, and unfortunately for them, it's been pretty much every end. Team Richard just executing at a higher level right now.
Trying to get them both if you can. Oh boy, that's a bit of
Just
a
missing.
mistake.
Yeah, just missing by an inch there is Corey Chester, and might have been a bit of an oversweep, but it's a peel shot, so tough to say.
Right now, just by the positioning of those two blue stones, there really isn't a draw to access the button either, so Team Czeke will have to keep their eye on that. Right now, though, Jeff Richard throwing up another guard, and I'm sure we'll see Corey Chester taking another attempt at the peel, or the run back, pardon me.
Touch the center line. Touch the center line.
And another great shot by Jeff. Those just over the hog line guards, Melissa, not easy to throw. And Jeff makes two perfectly there. So Corey Chester looking for the double peel once again. Does he have it this time? He does. So nice shot from Corey Chester to help open it up a little bit. But again, I still think if Brent gets this guard up, it's going to be pretty tough for the Islanders to get in there.
I think so. I think, getting down to Paul Ceke's rocks here, he's probably going to be throwing a high, hard one again, trying to figure out how to get that stone off the button.
Sure. I have to.
A little less.
Again, you have to love it if you're Brent Pierce right now and you're throwing a guard again this end. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been making them all, Brent Pierce. Having a fantastic game so far.
Halfway tight. Halfway high, sorry.
Straight, Jared, straight!
Brent currently curling 88%, so
Straight!
this one is maybe a little deeper than Jeff's.
Just clean it! Just clean it!
No, it will come to rest right at the exact same spot. So another very nice high guard from Team Richard. And if you're the Islanders, Melissa, do you ever think about running in your own here? Does that help?
Now it's which one do you play?
I think you have to. I mean,
Except,
they have
well,
two
maybe
choices
because
here.
it
They can
shoots
double
only a
peel those
bit.
two stones that are just near the
This
center
is
line, and
popping out to here.
I'm not sure if that gives you anything, but I think you have to run your own in now.
Yeah.
But does that change anything really if you run, regardless of which one you run in?
Well, if this is going to spring, that one's
I
going to
believe
help
the
us.
same outcome in the rings there.
You gotta make it. It's the big thing.
Because this is, I don't think this is going very far, but it might go to here. I think so. Go very far.
Red one. Let's do it. Let's make it.
So it looks like they elected to run the red one here, Melissa, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the reasoning for this is they think with the angles, the blue one that's on the button is just going to spring behind that blue one on the right as we're looking at it. Is that correct?
That's what they're hoping for. There's just, as you look at it, there's an ever so slight angle. They're not perfectly lined up. So they're really hoping to spring the blue one and then maybe have a chance on their last one to get rid of that other redstone. So we'll see what happens here.
Close. Yep. Oh, oh.
Number
Another
one is
run
to
back
make
for Paul
contact.
Cseke. Yep.
Got a curl.
And that is going to go right by the pile. So Team Richard has been lying one since this end started, and the end is almost over, and they're lying that exact same one. And if Brent Pierce guards this hole, it's going to be a long run for one for Paul Cseke.
Got about the same. Maybe a little less.
Easy, easy. High. Easy to start. Easy to start. Easy to start. Nick, Nick, halfway. Nick. Oh, guys, well, woohoo! Nick, curl hard. Hard, Nick. Hard, 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 hard.
Shot. Just went a lot better than your first one. First one really.
And that will guard the hole perfectly, so Paul Cseke is going to be left with a run back for one, I think, Melissa.
Tough, but if you could ever get it
I
going.
think so, and it's just a matter of which rock you've
Yeah, I know.
decide to run back here.
You think? Yeah. You
I
think this will go?
don't think it's
If you
for
get the
any
5
more
first?
than one, to be honest.
It's very tough though. Like running either the same shot, probably easier.
I think so too, Jay. He looked at running the angle on the right-hand side, and the rocks go in the wrong direction. If there was something on the left he could run in, that might help just simply because of the angles in the rings.
It should be a smidge less ice.
So I'm pretty sure this is just for one, or it is just for one, so why not play the exact same shot he did on his first? And just has to make contact with that top blue stone. And it should work. Yep, go ahead, John, sorry.
Oh, just going to say big shot here for Paul Cseke. He'll either be down one or down three.
Yep. Oh, yep, yep.
Needs to have it.
Yep.
Needs to have it, and does he have it? Will it get enough
They
of that top one to
overswept
push
it
it back?
again. They overswept it. I think it might be one for Jeff Richard.
Looks like one red from here, but we'll see if they maybe put a stick on it. Yeah, they are going to indeed put a stick on it. So we'll stay with you here to see what happened. And yeah, that looked like a made shot for Paul Cseke, but unfortunately maybe didn't get enough of the pile. And as we said, Melissa, this is just a critical point here.
Absolutely. Just needed to curl another inch and he would have had it, just would have hit it a little bit thicker and would have had some momentum to move that redstone another couple of inches. This looks like a fun measure with those rocks so close together.
Yeah, you never liked doing this one where you have to swing it all the way around. But yeah, certainly from our angle, it looks like red. This looks closer than we thought, Melissa. Inviting the thirds in for a look here.
Oh boy.
So it looks like we're going to have to go around again. Like you say,
be
these
so
are the tough
careful.
ones. Yeah, these are the tough ones to measure because you can see the measuring stick almost right at its base there.
And it's rattling a bit too, so they're trying to keep it as still as possible.
And it looks like the official has signaled red. And it is a huge steal for Team Richard, so they will take a 3-point lead into the fifth end break. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. So we get a nice look there at some of the great shot making in this game, but the shot making has been all with Team Richard so far. They lead 6-3. We'll head back into the studio for some analysis from Stacy, Kevin, and Mike. Take it away.
throwing 2 corners.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the 2022 BC Men's Provincial Curling Championship live from Kamloops, BC, here in Kamloops, British Columbia, presented by Best Western. It's Team Richard against the Islanders team Paul Cseke, John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And Melissa, this has been mostly one-way traffic so far. Team Richard has been curling phenomenally through the first 5 ends of this game.
Have they ever? They are playing outstanding and really putting a ton of pressure on Team Czech from pretty much the start of this game right till where we are right now. And again, I go back to the fact that you have your skip Brent Pierce throwing guards, and that means you're in very, very good shape from start to finish down the lineup. So great job here by Team Richard. And I think that, we look back at that point. That was such a huge point for Team Czech to get rather than to give up the steal. So we'll see how they react here in the last 5. They've had a chance, both teams, to have a break. And Team Czech talking to their coach, Cody Hall. So we'll see what they can do here in the last 5.
So yeah, obviously a pretty big deficit here after the 5th end break. What are some things that Team Czech will be looking to do to get back into this?
Well, they're going to have to look at trying to create opportunities for themselves so that Team Richard is chasing them. They have been chase this entire game. And instead of, we looked at when the first one went up, they always came around the middle, and that's fine. That's their game plan. But now they're going to have to take some risk. They're going to have to take some chances. So right here, right now, there's these 2 rocks in the 4-foot. Obviously, Jared's going to come to the middle. They may have to elect to ignore those and potentially go around a corner. We'll have to see how much risk they're willing to take. The other side of that, John, is they just have to remember that they're down 3 points. If they can get a deuce back here pretty soon, they'll be right back in this game.
So yeah, potentially a case of just not trying to do too much too early. Still 5 ends to go in this provincial final, and we'll take a look at the stats after 5 here for the 2 teams. And you can see here the stats kind of telling the story. 89% for Team Richard to 82 for Cseke, and I think the big number there is at the 3rd position, 83% for Jeff Richard in comparison to 60% for Corey Chester.
Corey's not going to be happy with those numbers, and he's struggling a little bit. And it's not that he's missing full shots by any means; it's those half shots. And when you have Jeff Richard playing very, very well on the other side, you have to match him. You have to match exactly what he's doing.
Lean on it.
Good call, Paul.
And nice shot there from Jay, making 2 of those Reds move out of the 4-foot and rolling behind the guard. So we haven't seen Jared Colomea throw too many runbacks, but this shot is his bread and butter, Melissa. So
Now Jared himself throwing a lot of guards as well, a lot of draws.
Hard!
Hard! Hard! Real hard!
and just runs it by, and it's the first time in a while I can think of Team Richard not making a shot.
I would agree, but and that's what we're talking about right here. That's a high degree of difficulty shot that Jared had to throw there, and that's what Team Cseke wants Team Richard to do. They want them to throw the hard shots. So that's a good example of that, just simply by the roll that Jay got in his first. So now a chance here to draw to the other side.
No, line's good, line's good. Just line.
Got to make sure this one is there if you're Jay Wakefield.
Go on it. No. We're there. Is it heavy? Okay. Yeah, go.
Line is crucial here, John. They want to get this buried completely behind that guard, and that looks really good.
Yeah, nice shot there from Jay. Not fully buried, but
No.
it was at least second shot.
Yeah, I can go like this. Gotta wait. I'm thinking like, bumper. Bumper's okay. You like there?
Nice board. So Jeff Richard looking to eliminate that Wakefield stone that was just thrown. And makes no mistake. So it is Team Richard sitting 2 without hammer here in the 6th, and they lead by 3.
Good, yeah. Hack back line.
So a couple options here, I think, for
Oh, so you
Team
wanna do
Czeke.
that?
I was just
Yeah,
going to
that's
say
good.
for Corey, he could probably see all of that plus.
Board. Hack.
Remember the speed, buddy.
So I think they've changed the call here. They were originally going to just play a quick tap back, but because he can see all of that and some air, as you heard him, it would be really great if he could hit and roll under. And he wants to roll, you know, a good 2-3 feet. He doesn't want to set up any opportunity for Team Richard to be able to find that rock.
Straight, 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 straight.
Needs this roll underneath, does Corey Chester, and it looked like they were trying to change the call to a hit and roll. And as Corey said, just a little bit more than he wanted to throw on that one, and so struggles continue a little bit for Corey Chester there. That was a big opportunity to get underneath those guards.
Yeah. You could. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But he's just going to corner freeze to it. That's all he's going to do. Whatever. If you end up there, it's not terrible. You throw in bumper?
Both the same. Clean. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
So I think, Melissa, they're fine whether this noses or hits and rolls.
I agree.
He's right on the nose. That's fine.
And so it will just get a little inside the nose, and so an opportunity here again for the Islanders to make a hit and roll behind these corner guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at Jeff
Yeah,
there. I
board.
think they
If-
probably
I mean,
wanted
it
to roll a
doesn't
little bit
matter.
more
If
towards
we
that
just play with
redstone.
board
Yes, it
behind
would have
the
set up
corner,
a
it's pretty
double,
good
but
too.
you want to take this
Board.
hit and roll away from Team Czeke here.
Kind of want to get that other one out, though, eh?
The door is just barely open for them. You don't want to
Penalty there. You can feel the same way.
let them get any chances here. So another chance here though for Corey. Really, really looking for the roll here.
Yeah, bigger. Close, close. Yep. Whoa.
Yeah, the roll or even the double here.
Yep. Whoa.
Might get
Whoa,
both.
Whoa, go straight. Go straight, straight.
And how about that from Corey Chester?
Good throw.
Phenomenal shot. That's a little bit more what we're used to seeing from him, and now it is the Islanders line 2.
What a shot, and you know Corey really, really needed it. That not only because to help his team, but for himself. That was an important shot for Corey. And if I were him, I would just be putting that one right into the memory bank and grab some confidence from that. So great shot by Corey. So Brent Pierce now, he would be very okay with giving up a deuce here in the 6th end. So just going to elect to hit the open one.
Yeah, his original thought was maybe to freeze, which maybe speaks to the confidence that Brent's playing with right now. But
Yeah,
you can see that
exactly.
that blue one is well overburied, and if you ever miss the freeze, you're giving up 3. So cooler heads prevailing here as he's going to hit this open one.
We haven't seen Brent Pierce throw a hit for quite a while.
Whoa.
They're not in love with this one from the whoa calls here. Nick Meister trying to bring this one back. Is this a miss here? Well, it's a half miss, and so Brent would have loved to stick that one around, and now an opportunity for the Islanders to maybe get 2 behind this corner guard, Melissa.
You don't get a lot of chances here. I mean, they're looking at, you know, it's a little bit tough where to put this though, John. If you put this above that blue stone, There could be a
Our
short
only chance is to
slash for
one
Brent
back
because
there.
of
Right
that
back 12.
redstone. I think you can see maybe 3/4 of it. So I like what they're calling here. Back 12. They have to that blue stone's in such a perfect position. You don't want to mess with it. So if you come in behind it,
That's the thing.
they already know the slash
Right
is
here.
very
Can't go
difficult
on
as
to
it
our
is
top
right
one, eh?
now.
'Cause he
So
has
I
that.
really like this
Where'd
call.
you have me? Like here?
Need to be second
You
shot,
think
of course,
that's
but back
an
8,
easy
back
shot to get
12.
both of them, that slash?
Over Barry would be ideal.
Okay. You like it, Paul. Remember, speed's
Yeah, I think the big thing here, Melissa, you
gonna
just
say-
never want to leave them with a double and kill your chance at 2. So precise draw here for Paul Cseke, and we haven't seen him draw in quite some time, so we'll see if he's up to the task. Lying one and looking to get a second behind the
Line's
corner
good.
guard here.
coming down, coming down.
Line's good. Close for line.
You hear them
actually.
saying
Yep,
back
yep,
8,
yep,
so
yep.
Sweepers
wait's
like it,
close.
yep.
Line's good. Line's good. Line's good.
They have to
Back 8 here.
overbury this, though, I think, John.
Right here.
And look at that touch from Paul Cseke. He's basically thrown all hits all game and had to put that rock in the back 8, and he does. And so decision time now for Team
I don't hate
Richard
the
here,
corner
Melissa.
freeze.
What is 3 in the play though? I guess this is 3-2.
I guess
right?
if you get to the nose of this, even if it overcurls, it's only 2, right?
I mean, even if you
Yeah, I
said
guess
second shot, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm down to try it if you want. Like here?
Yeah.
Here?
Speed's really nice here. Yep. Speed nice here.
So Brent trying the freeze here, Melissa?
I think that's what they ended up with. They talked about a couple different things, but if Brent plays the freeze, the most that Team Czeke can get is 2. So I do like this call, and I think that's what they're playing. I don't think you need to take any risk here of trying to do something fancy and cut them down or try to steal here. You really don't want to give up 3.
I like the way.
So Brent needs to make this freeze good in order to not give Paul Cseke the chance to tie this game up. Sweepers on it early. Looks like we might be a little bit heavy here. No, it's coming down now. It's got to be there for shot.
What a shot.
It is. Phenomenal shot from Brent Pierce. I don't think you could have walked that down any better.
I agree. That is amazing.
see enough of that,
Terrific
Ian?
shot by Brent.
Yep. I
I'm
mean,
not
you just
sure what
gotta,
Paul has for 2.
Like, hit it just here. Just low of
Play
nose.
with bigger weight for 1 maybe, like just in case. Like I hit it perfect. I don't know. 'Cause this red's coming in here, right?
What?
Phenomenal shot from Brent Pierce.
Less than
Yeah,
half.
it's half.
Take a look from the hack. We can play it. Otherwise, we just draw. You think you need a thick half?
So I think Melissa trying to play the slash maybe for 2 here.
That's what they're looking at right now, but yeah, I think if you're Paul Cseke, you have to see this and you have to think that it's there. You know, if there's any doubt in your mind, you just
you
draw
got-
for
you
your
gotta
single
spit it
and
out
hope
here a
for the
bit.
best here. You can't afford to give
Well,
up
dead
another
down for
point,
1.
obviously.
Yeah.
Are they shot? Are they shot? Shoot. I didn't think they could do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
Okay. You know the speed, Paul. You got a bite.
So they do elect to draw after all of that discussion. So Brent Pierce making an absolutely phenomenal rock, forcing the Islanders into a draw for their single here. Paul Cseke needs to bear down. Don't want to give up another steal here.
Line's good. Start curl now. Line's good. Line's good.
Sweepers like it. Needs full forefoot here.
Shot, Paul.
And Paul Cseke makes no mistake, but once again, it's a fantastic shot from Brent Pierce that bails out Team Richard. And so it's only one for the Islanders. Team Richard will take a 6-4 lead and the hammer into the 7th. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Championships live on Chat. Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships presented by Best Western. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we take in this final game. And Melissa, just, you know, coming out of that fifth end break, the Islanders finally getting a little bit of momentum, looking like they were maybe set up for a 3, and then Brent Pierce making what is arguably the shot of the game so far, put the rock down on a postage stamp and forced the Islanders to 1.
Completely unbelievable shot by Brent. I mean, as you said, John, I don't think you could have walked that down and put it any better. And at first they were thinking about just freezing to the back one and giving up 2. But and the sweepers again, I look back and they were just so casual about that, but they put it in the absolute perfect spot. And unfortunately for Team Cseke, he had nothing on his last but to draw to the forefoot for his single.
So we'll take another look at that shot from Brent last end if you missed it. Islanders were sitting 2. He needed to make a corner freeze, and they put it in exactly the right spot. And the Islanders could do nothing about it. So just, again, a great look at that. And as you say, Melissa, just as much of a sweeper shot as it is a thrower shot, we got a good look at Jared Kolomea coaxing that rock into the perfect spot.
Good scrum.
Definitely, it's such a great team shot and just so well done. And again, they continue to put the pressure on Team Cseke. And I think for Team Cseke now, John, they have to take some risk. If you're only down 1, that's one thing, but being down 2 in the 7th end, I feel like Team Cseke is going to have to take a few risks here and try and get a steal early. You know, if you force to 1, that's not bad, but you're down 3 heading into 8. You still have a chance, but you're going to have to really, really fire on all cylinders here for the last four ends.
Yeah, I guess a key here for the Islanders, Melissa, not to give up 2. You know, being down 8-4 with only 3 ends to go, that's a big lead.
Agree. Agree.
Okay.
You know, forcing to 1 is fine, but if you could ever find a way to steal, you know, steal right back here in the 7th, that's probably a little bit better scenario for you, for Team Czeke.
Top 8. No, top 4. T. T. Back 4. It's all there.
So trying to come to these red ones in the house here. And Jay with a nice shot. Maybe a little heavier than they were hoping.
I think they were hoping that it would curl a bit more. Yeah, maybe a couple feet too heavy. I think Brent Pierce, though, however, his end plan here is very, very simple. He wants to keep this as clean as possible. If he takes
Yeah,
1, that's okay.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I suppose he would be thrilled with a blank here too, Melissa.
Oh, for sure he would.
And Jared Colomea won't get the double, but he does get the top guard.
Look good out of your hand, but once you got down there. Okay.
So Jay being asked to freeze the red stone in the 4-foot here.
Top 8.
Top 8's good.
Give you a little light.
No, weight's good.
Line's good. Got a curl here.
You really want to freeze this red stone.
Hard, Ryan.
No, weight's good. Small bump. Small bump.
You hear them saying, John, no bump. And this looks excellent.
It's awesome.
Nice
Really
shot.
good throw from Jay Wakefield.
Pistol, buddy.
We talk about how Jay switching to skipping halfway through the year to calling the game has been really good for Paul, but I think it's been good for Jay too. We've seen Melissa, he's been great all week, and he's at 88% after 6 ends now and made both his shots there. So probably into the 90s. Really good game here in the final for Jay.
And Jay's really adapted to calling the game. He's very intense, but he sees all the shots. He sees the whole picture, and he's done such an amazing job here for Team Czeke in this role. So good on him for that. It also takes the pressure off Paul Czeke, as we've talked about in the past. When you don't have to call the game and you're just throwing last stones, it just gives you a different frame of mind throwing those last 2.
Yeah, keep it out there a bit. Curl. Line's good.
So trying to guard here after Jared Colomea got rid of the one in front of the house.
Line's good. Line's good. Down a little bit. Right. Yep. Right.
Team Czeke will throw up a couple of guards. They don't need to make a play on the one in the rings just yet.
So another peel coming here, and Melissa, me, and Will Sutton, our Curl BC tournament liaison here. We're going back in the record books, and we've talked a little bit about Brent's experience. He's 52 years old, and as far as we can tell, there has never been a skip over 50 who has represented BC at the Brier. So could be a milestone here today if he goes on to win this game.
Well, you guys are doing some good research.
We're trying our best
Wow.
here. Do you want to take any guess as to who's the closest to 50?
Oh boy, I don't want to insult anyone.
Line's good.
I wish I knew how old Jim Cotter was, because that's my best bet, because he's been there 9 times or whatever you said earlier. I don't know. I'm not going to guess. I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, yeah, Jim's not over 50 yet.
I didn't think he
it's
was.
actually it's Bert Gretzinger. When
Okay.
he won back in 1999, he was 49.
Oh wow. Okay.
So Brent will have 3 years on him if he
Little
wins this
risky,
provincial
but I don't
championship
hate
today.
it.
Feel
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim, if you were listening, by the way.
Clean.
I have a feeling Jim may not be watching this game.
No, I don't think so either.
I've lost a few semifinals in the past, and I don't know how much I ever feel like torturing myself the following day.
Okay. What do? They smash or? What do they
So
do?
looking to come in the house here now, Melissa?
I think
Gutter
it's
is
time that
disadvantage.
you need to decide here.
Probably give them 2.
You
Okay.
know, both their rocks in
On
a
the
really
angle,
good
eh?
position, but if you see where Jay's got his broom there, they're trying to keep that angle so he doesn't want to be right on top, just ever so slightly to the left of that
Lock it
blue
on.
stone. You know that likely Brent Pierce is going to come with a
Yeah,
high
Paul.
hard one
Same
here and
speed
try
as your
and
drop.
clear that 4-foot up. But I'm
Okay.
not sure there was any advantage to putting up a
You've got to
card
curl
right
a little
now.
less than me.
Same speed as your drop ball.
Great feedback there from Ryan Cassidy, just same speed as your draw.
How much?
There. Weight's good. Top
None
4.
Yeah,
should
as
be
we
okay.
said earlier, that's the type of feedback Paul likes, referencing past shots.
Oh, it's got to curl. Got
But looks like a little bit too much weight here, maybe. Needs this to come down. And he will just roll over the top. So his team Richard lying 1 with hammer here. And the Islanders only have 1 rock left with which to do something about that.
Soft that thing, or could it go over top? Yeah.
Does it matter if it jams? Yeah. It's fine. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yep.
So just peel on the nose.
Even if it jams, it doesn't really matter.
Some good comments there, John, by Jared. You know,
No, right on the
they were
nose is
thinking
pretty
it's going to
good.
jam on the one at the back 8-foot, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm not sure it does with only 3 stones remaining.
So Brent Pierce looking to move some granite around here.
Barely let it go, I think, before Jeff called Nick on here.
And that did not hit it where they wanted to, so maybe a little glimmer of hope here for the Islanders.
Well, intern? Okay.
So I think, Melissa, if Paul can hit this one back,
the
the
ideal spot here,
Islanders will
Paul?
be lying 3.
Okay. You got it, buddy. Let's make it. Yep.
I think so. I think that will outcount that other red stone at the top there.
So big shot here for Paul Cseke, an opportunity to put some pressure on Team Richard. Could be lying 3 after this. Need to keep this one straight. Need to keep it straight. And they will. What a great shot from Paul Cseke. And I think it's the
Lovely
Islanders just
shot.
lying 2, but they are buried behind some rocks, and this is
I don't
not
think this
easy
one
for
goes.
Brent.
I don't think it does.
It's close.
Really? It's just going to go on the back one too, isn't it? Oh, that's... Okay, well, let's give it a shot. I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's probably not a bad play.
It's not bad. Could, yep, for sure.
Maybe we should just do this.
I like that, yep.
Just like control. I think even just control, eh?
If you ever nose it, do you get one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I like this.
No. Yeah. Control. Watch for the crotch, though. You never know, Jeff.
So I guess, Melissa, the main concern here for Team Richard, they just don't want to give up 2.
That's right, and that's what they were afraid of if
this.
they hit that blue stone into the pile. Originally, Jared thought maybe it was there, but I think Jeff has a good idea here that if you hit this with control weight a little on the outside, if you, well, I think if you hit the blue stone that's currently shot rock, there is a small chance you could be shot. But the key here, you know, giving up 1 isn't the end of the world for Brent Pierce. Giving up 2 is not great.
So here we go, final stone for Brent Pierce.
Stay with it, Jeff.
Facing 2.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
And he will not stick there for 1, so it is a steal of 1 for the Islanders as they maybe find their way back into the game a little bit. It's only a 1-point lead for Team Richard, but they will have the hammer in the 8th when we come back. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships live on Czeke. Hello, folks, and welcome back. It is the BC Men's Provincial Final. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we take in this game between Team Richard and Team Cseke, live from Kamloops, BC. And Melissa, you talked about it before the 7th end, that for the Islanders, they would want to go pretty hard for the steal in the 7th. We saw them do that, and we saw them be successful.
We did, and like I said, being down 2 is very different than being down 1, and I think the Islanders did need to take a couple of chances, and they did, and they were successful in getting that steal. Brent Pierce just missing his shot, as Jeff was worried it was going to spin up, and it did do that, so it was a steal of 1.
Mine's good.
So the same plan here now for the Islanders. Again, they don't have to take as many chances. If they could ever force Jeff Richard and his team to a single here in 8th, they would still be very, very much in this game. But I don't think they want to give up a multiple point end.
Yeah, certainly you, if you're the Islanders, you don't want to get down 3 this late in the game. And we've talked all week about just how important this 8th end is. And it feels like with the way the momentum is going here, Melissa, almost maybe even more important than usual. Kind of feels like if the Islanders are able to get a point here, that might really, really have an effect on the rest of this game.
Oh, I would think so for sure, and you know that Team Richard will have something to say about that for sure, and that's why they're kind of playing in again. They've been very successful last, and they played a little bit more on the defensive side. Got into a bit of trouble.
Was that top 12?
Prior to that end, they were playing a lot of this offensive shots to the middle, and then peeling late, and therefore they've employed that strategy here again in 8.
Okay. Speed's the same, Jay.
So Jay Wakefield making a great pair of stones last end to help get that steal set up. We'll see if he can keep that going here.
Back 4. Oh, then. Back 4. T. Small bump. Back 4. T. All that back 4. Coming down. Still T. Curl.
You can hear the weight back 4. Trying to get it to curl now. Want to try and
gotta
get these
to the
angles
face of
set
that
up.
red. Yeah, really nice from Jay. So it is Team Richard laying one, but a couple Islander stones in the house here.
Either that or the peel. Okay. I like that.
You like that?
Yep.
So just to almost exactly to your point here, Melissa, they're making you look real smart. They elect not to peel here and stay on the offense.
When you have success with something, I guess you just keep on doing that, and you know they've been very, very successful with this kind of strategy, and I don't blame Brent one bit for trying to continue with it.
And that
They've
is
been making
quite heavy.
Yeah, they're
from
making
Jared
so many
Kolomea.
shots, John. Pardon me. You know, it's all about putting pressure on your opposition. I think they let Team Czeke, I would say, dictate that last end, and that's what they're trying to avoid. They want to dictate the play. They want to put the pressure on Team Czeke.
So a mistake from Jared Kolomea. We'll see if Jay Wakefield can capitalize. Would love to get an inside roll here.
Yep. Whoa. You. Whoa, curl. Big. Sit.
Pistol.
Really good shot from Jay Wakefield there. Rolled to exactly where they wanted to. And once again, we saw the first half of the game, the Islanders doing a lot of chasing, but it is now Team Richard on the back foot.
Right here.
Yeah, what a terrific shot there by Jay. And their Bluestones in really good positioning right now, especially with that angle on those two staggered blue rocks on the forefoot.
Try to pound this, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
You like this? Like, want to hear? Okay. 7/8 cross, I guess. 7/8 low.
So trying to run this one in, Melissa?
They are, you know, they have to be very, very careful. They're trying to run the blue onto the two blues in the forefoot, but they have to be really careful here. And this one just over curled.
Guard this one.
So we can see there,
Remember, to the broom. Speed's good.
again, in the reaction from Brent Pierce, just exactly what happened there. Did the old delayed stand. Never good when you see your skip doing that. So Jared Kolomea has been absolutely fantastic today. He is curling 90% going into this end, but 2 big misses, and we'll see if the Islanders can continue to take advantage here.
They don't want this one too tight.
Don't want to give Jeff the opportunity to do what Jared just did, and
Correct.
good shot there from Corey. Maybe a little closer than they would have liked, Melissa.
Yeah, there's a good look at it. Not only is it a little bit tight, but it needed to be another couple inches over, I think, to the right as we look at it.
I don't hate running that guard again.
Okay, but your shooter's probably going to stay there.
If we roll it and 6 inches my way, it's not bad.
Okay.
Oh boy is right. I think that was Jeff that said that. Oh boy.
Brent said it.
Yeah, I think we still want to go this one.
Brent said it,
He
and
can
Jared
slack.
said it.
That's not going anywhere.
The big oh boy.
Don't make it easy. Same throw, buddy. You got it.
And so, Melissa, we always have vigilant viewers here. We've been informed that in 1997, Barry McPhee was
Mine's a bit
exactly
tighter.
50 when he won the Brier. And of course, Barry McPhee from Kamloops, so in his home club, we cannot
Okay,
show
line's
him
good, line's good.
disrespect.
Don't want to touch it.
Line's good. Just
A
touch the
multiple-time BC champion, Barry McPhee.
Sit.
So Brent would become the second 50-plus skip.
Good. Good toss.
And that is in a really good spot, and it's the Islanders sitting 3.
Well, get 2 of them out of here, bud. Open the forefoot up. You got to get 2 of these out of here. Well, if you peel the guard, I don't know. Okay, what else do you want to do?
That's fine.
How much can you see of it? That's more than enough.
Kind of
I
wait.
think that guard of Corey's there, John,
Yep.
overcurled by 2 inches. He needed kind of in between those 2 shots of his. So chance here now for Jeff to try and bail these guys out. If he can hit what he can see, he should be able to get 2 going. And as Brent suggested, open up the forefoot, which is crucial here right now.
And he will only get the top one, so it is still the Islanders lying 2 without Hammer here in the 8th. And so, yeah, Melissa, Brent
I think
seemed
so.
very
I mean, we
concerned
could
with
go here
opening
too,
up the
but-
forefoot.
Well, actually,
And,
that's not
I'm
bad.
guessing that's for his own
He frees right
potential
there.
end-saving draw that he's thinking about.
Exactly. Right now, he, when that rock was there, he was looking at nothing. So they talked about peeling the guard and running it in, and that might have got everything moving out of the forefoot, but it was difficult. So Brent was confident that if Jeff could hit what he could see, he could at least
Room.
open up that side. Right now, the other side is open, but it's very difficult to get in there at the moment. So
Got it, curl.
depending on where this rock goes,
Go, go, go. Go, go.
Yeah, they need this to
thought they were-
finish here.
Go, hard. Go.
yeah,
hard.
I thought they
Go,
were
straight.
weren't calling it this far in, but they are.
And wow, what a shot
And
from
wow.
Paul Cseke.
I think that is in a really good spot.
I hate it.
A lot of Smurfs in the house here. Brent might have a chance to get rid of them all, though. Certainly get rid of 2, but he's running the guard to do it. Not easy.
Sliver your side is pretty good. 7/8 high.
Yep.
I think back to that shot, John, and I was just wondering if Paul throws that lighter, even just kind of a half guard or something, and just keeps the play, delays it one more shot into the rings, I guess. But great opportunity here now for Brent Pierce.
We hear a big whoa call, and that is not what you want to hear if you are Team Richard. That is going to miss everything. And so the Islanders are lying 3 without Hammer. And my goodness, Melissa, a chance to really put some pressure on Team Richard here.
Okay, and out front then. We want to guard this, don't we? Yeah. Yeah. We can
So
be out.
discussion
You wanna be
time
in?
is where you want to put this rock in.
Yeah.
Jay thinks out
it's all
front,
line
but
shot.
I agree with you, Jay. But I would put this on the rings. Why not? As long as you don't set up a.
Well, that's exactly the thing. So I think line is key. Yeah.
So they're trying to protect the rock that's in the middle of those two stones.
You know the adjustment, buddy.
If we have a look at the house again, Paul is trying to protect the rock that's in the middle. There's a good look at it. But I think you could come top 12. Just biting top 12 might not hurt you, but short is okay too.
Got room right now. Room.
This is all a line shot, as you heard Jay say.
Just tight. Gotta curl a mile.
Oh boy, this
Gotta
has to
get this
really
over.
curl.
Cannot leave this 3 blue stones open. Need to finish it. Can Corey Chester get it to the center line? Can he get it there? Can he get it there? Great finish from Corey Chester, but there might be an opening here for Brent Pierce. We'd have to see it, and Brent is just going to try to draw around everything. My goodness, Melissa, talk about a pressure shot.
No kidding, and Brent was already in the hack before Paul's rock even came to stop. He knew what he had to do, and he went down there to prepare for this shot. And there he is, already in and ready to go.
So final stone for Brent Pierce, and he's facing 3, and he needs half of the button.
T-line.
Hard, Nick!
Okay, whoa, I think we got to.
Whoa!
Wait, good. Don't want me still.
Looks close.
Why not me? We have to like chip it.
Looks real close. Got to get by that top one.
Oh,
They
bit of a
just
miscall
nicked
there.
the top one. Yeah, I think the weight might have been there, but the sweeping was not, and it's a huge steal of 2 for the Islanders.
Wow.
And they will take their first lead since the first end. Unbelievable shot making here for the Islanders in the 8th. We'll be back with the 9th end. You're watching the BC Curling Championships live on Cseke. Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Curling Championships. Live from the Kamloops Curling Club in beautiful Kamloops, BC. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And Melissa, the last 2 ends, we've seen a real shift in the balance of this game, and particularly in that 8th end. Brent Pierce facing 3 Islanders stones. Looked like he had the draw made, but a little bit of a sweeping error. The Islanders steal 2. And as I said before the break, this is their first lead since the first end.
Wow, you know, I think we're all in a little bit of shock, especially Brent Pierce. I'm sure, you know, he did. He had perfect weight, and the brushes were just cleaning it, and I think there was just some either miscommunication or Jeff Richard just didn't see it take the break, but a very unfortunate situation for Team Richard, and the fact that it just ticked off that guard and gave up that steal of two. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Ball's in.
And so we see Nick Meister trying to throw up a corner guard and throws it, or I think maybe draw to the wings and throws it through the house. So an opportunity for the Islanders to once again get set up here in the ninth.
I can make anything. Love it.
I love it. Look at Ryan Cassidy.
He's really feeling himself today, is Ryan
He
Cassidy.
really
But
is.
as I said, he's backing it up with the stats, so can't really say too much about that. At last look, he was curling 98%. So Nick Meister looking maybe a little bit heavy here once again. And certainly does not want this to go through the
Wow.
house.
Very unusual shots by Nick Meister. My goodness.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing that. And now if you're the Islanders, you're almost like, geez, what do we even do?
If that's good enough.
Whatever you think.
They're going to start ripping. If that's good enough, do we not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, everyone's been heavy here.
Yeah.
Still 15, buddy. Same speed.
I just love the conversations with Ryan. He's just so good at providing information and feedback and trying to settle the team and pump the team up, and he does such a great job of it. So well done for Ryan Cassidy. So looking for a high guard here, John. They feel like that rock is good enough, as in Ryan's words, but this looks like it might over curl.
Yeah, that looked like it might have caught a piece of something right at the hog liner. I'm not sure, but it really finished at the end there. So opportunity for Brent Pierce to make the double here. And, you know, in some ways, Melissa, not all is lost here for Richard. I think in this ninth, they'd probably love to blank.
Oh, I would think so as well. And this is the opportunity now for Jared. He can make the run double here and get rid of those two stones and roll his shooter. Like that.
And he will make no mistake. So he atones for his misses in the eighth with a great shot there from Jared Colomea. That's the run backs we're used to seeing from him. And so nothing in the house right now, but two guards up that the Islanders will now try to take advantage of. We get a good look at Paul Cseke there, playing in his third provincial final, but his first as a skip.
So for Team Cseke, the end plan here, you know, they would like to steal for sure, but I think if they ever force Team Richard to have to take a single here in 9, they'd be very happy with that result. And of course, as you mentioned, or we mentioned, Team Richard would love the blank here in 9 and have Hammer coming home.
So a little short there from Jay Wakefield, but it's around those guards. So this maybe takes the blank out of play, but does give an opportunity for Team Richard to get a winner in, as we say. Jared could put this in the forefoot.
I'm a little bit surprised at this, and I thought for sure that they would maybe peel, and I know there's not a really good option for the double peel, but I really thought they might do that and try and go for the blank. Jared doesn't want to be deep here if he can help it.
Nice shot there from Jared, maybe just about a foot deep, but that's still in a pretty good spot.
Nice shot there. Big shot here now for Corey Chesser to try and get this one right on the tee line. He really wants to freeze to that stone thrown by Jared.
We're close.
They're taking the different turn, obviously, different path.
You clean. No, can't.
It's got to curl. Where is it?
Can't be heavy here. That will be a bit of a mistake here for Corey. He will not be happy with this result.
Real close, Corey.
No, this will open the door here now for Team Richard to lie to.
Are we shot? I don't think it matters.
Think we are, but
So you
Yeah,
get a
that's a
good look
mistake.
there. Yeah, a lot of guards up front here for Team Richard to use, and that blue one to use as backing. So all of a sudden, maybe even a 3 in play here if you're
Weight's good.
Team Richard, if Jeff can make this one good.
And you just think about how this end started with Nick Meister going through on both of his stones, but you know, that shot missed there by Corey Chester, and now all of a sudden, as you say, Team Richard in a great position here.
Keep it going, Jared. Come on, keep it going. Keep it going, Jared. Keep it going. You gotta
Trying to
keep
get this
going,
half
keep
tucked,
going.
if nothing else. Would love it for it to be frozen on top.
Just a little short there from Jeff, so take a look and see which of these is shot.
You got to hit thinner than half.
Let's try it then.
It's like there.
Maybe a chance for a double here
Down and through
for
that.
Corey Chester, and if he could make this, that would be a huge help.
It definitely would. Big, big shot here by Corey.
Yes!
Calling Ryan on right away. Do not want to rack this. And what a shot
Can
from
they
Corey
get it
Chester.
out?
Can they get it out?
Did they? No, not
No,
quite.
not quite, but they are still shot 2. They've got that blue one at the top of the house.
What a terrific shot by Corey. A clutch shot there by Corey Chester. So great chance here now, though, because of where that blue stone is, back button. Jeff Richard looking to just lock it on.
Weight's a little better. Weight's really good.
Yeah, now it's even more important to make the freeze here if you're Jeff Richard.
Weight's good.
Rube. Needs the curl.
Always you, Nick.
Needs the curl. Get it. Gotta get it here though. Needs the curl.
Go. Over there. Hard, Nick.
Do not want to bounce off of it here, and that is a nice shot from Jeff Richard. Not
Really
quite
nice shot.
frozen, but
Handling.
it is in there for shot.
Oh, you don't see what a guard, but I
I
think
think
you
they're
got
probably shot.
I mean, you could throw a tight guard. Their shot.
Okay. Speed's the same, Paul.
I like this call very much, John, and the reason I like this call is, you know, they talked about throwing the guard, but if they do that, we saw earlier Team Richard drawing on the outside to get to the forefoot, and I think there's enough bend in the ice there that would actually curl in for a second shot. So I think this is your chance now, if you are Team Cseke, to put some pressure on Team Richard and maybe try and force them to a single here, which they would be very happy
Mine's a
with,
little tight.
obviously.
What do you think?
Mine's a little tight.
So right on, locking it right on here would be ideal.
Hard line.
Super's saying it with maybe a little light and a little tight out of the hand, so we'll see if they can hold
Hard
it.
line. Hard line.
They're saying top 8. Like it
Got to get
right on
around
top
their
if they
own.
can.
Got to get around their own. And they will. Really nice shot from Paul Cseke. And so Brent Pierce, maybe with an opportunity here to come around everything and sit in there for 2. And if he does that, I think he'll probably get his 2. I don't know if the Islanders will be able to get at it or not.
Close. Really good weight. Like to go soon. No, weight's good. We're a little heavy. Can't.
Can't be deep here.
Oh, it's a rocket.
Well, Jared said it for us. It is a rocket right through the house. And so now if you're the Islanders, what do you do here, Melissa?
Well, I think Brent is likely going to throw the same shot, but I think you have to let him. I don't know.
Like if he just has to leave that to there and then roll to here. That's there.
Let's listen in first
really
and see
tough.
what.
That's probably
Shot
easier
in the ring.
too, eh?
You think? It's really got a carve here, though.
You're flattering me. Just because I yell after every made open guard, I make every shot, doesn't mean I make every shot.
Want to call time, guys? Yeah, that's not a bad call. Yeah. Move that to there. Yeah, I like that. Just rub
So I
it.
guess, Melissa, what they're talking about is just trying to find a way to prevent Team Richard from scoring 2.
Exactly.
I like that.
They're very
Just
happy
like
giving up a single here, that's for
T-line
sure. They
weight.
know that Brent is likely going to throw the out turn, and they call that the easier of the 2 shots. I'm not sure either of them is easy. They don't really want to throw the guard. They don't feel like that really gives them anything. So what they're going to do is probably throw about T-line weight, maybe just a little bit more. Come down and hit that rock that Paul just threw. Try and punch it to the right from the thrower's perspective and keep their shooter right there. It's a very, very difficult shot, John.
If you want to change it, got to call it time.
Let's throw the out turn guard.
Okay.
If I tap that open, it's an easy hit for 2.
Yeah,
You got it, Paul.
I agree. Make Brent make the hard one, and he's already had 1 shot at this out turn, so Paul just trying to guard the path that Brent just had.
Pretty out there, guys.
Yeah, tolerance is anywhere. Basically, you've got about 10 feet to work with there, just trying to keep this in the path and not allow Brent to throw the exact same shot. I think that's smart.
And yeah, very smart from Paul, and so now it's up to Brent to just kind of try a little intern chisel here. So final stone for Brent Pierce. Yeah, I think he just has to, he might even be able to roll in off the blue too, but needs a chisel off of either the red or the blue to score 2 here. Not a lot
Waiting
of
for this
scoring
to
room here.
catch the curl here. There it should
Yeah,
start going.
Weight looks really close here. Can they get it there for a second?
Fuck yeah, Brent. Great shot.
And it's 1 for sure.
I think it's blue, but it's
Nope,
not. It's
it
red.
is red. What a shot
Wow,
from Brent
what a
Pierce.
shot.
Just a cold draw to a postage stamp, manages to pick up 2, so it will be a 1-point lead for Team Richard heading into the 10th. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Championships live on Czeke. Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships. You're watching the final between Team Jeff Richard and the Islanders team Paul Cseke. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And just before we tee up this 10th end, Melissa, we have to go back and talk about that shot by Brent Pierce. That draw, absolutely unbelievable. Doesn't talk to Jeff about it. He's already in the hack, ready to throw when Paul's guard comes to rest, and pretty much had to drop that rock on a dime and did it.
Unbelievable. Like, you pretty much outlined the whole thing there, John. It was just unbelievable. And
Wake's nice.
as you said, didn't even really discuss it, just put the broom down and off he went, and there you go.
Okay, line's good.
Tight.
Line's good.
What a shot by
So-
Brent Pierce.
Yeah, unbelievable shot. Nick Meister now looking to put up a center guard, and we'll take one more look at that Brent Pierce draw.
Go, Nick.
We've talked about it being a game of inches, and this is literally putting this rock on about 2 inches of room here. Jared Colomea just managing to finish it at the end for it to outcount that blue one for 2. Incredible touch from the 52-year-old veteran Brent Pierce, and now the Islanders need a 2 for the win.
Hard line. Hard line. Hard line. Hard line. Good. Room. Paul. No. Line's good. Straight. Okay, now Paul. Now Paul. Paul. Not too deep. Not too deep. Good shot.
A nice shot there by Ryan. And you think back, you know, Nick Meister in that previous end, he missed both of his shots, and still Team Richard managing to get a deuce. Here in this 10th end, it doesn't look like Nick's rocks are in the spots, obviously, that Brent has probably called. One of them is off the center in the house, and his guard over curling. So maybe not in the perfect place that he wanted them, but it's now up to Jared Colomea to get this right on the face of this blue stone if he can. He doesn't want to tick off, and that's a great shot.
Good shot there from Jared Colomea. I know it's a bit of a tongue twister, Melissa.
I tried.
I think I've said it enough times this week. It's starting to become more muscle memory here, but Jay Wakefield now looking to freeze this one on top. And Melissa, we saw this exact scenario yesterday in the 1-2 game, although Paul Cseke only needed to score 1 in the 10th with the hammer, and now he needs 2. If you're the Islanders, how hard are you selling out to try to get 2 here in this 10th?
Again, you're going to go hard early, and you know, if you find yourself in a bit of trouble, you're going to bail and try and find a way just to get your single point. But that's a bit of a miss there by Jay. That really needed to curl another foot and get to the face of that red stone. The good news is he did push the other stone quite far in behind those corner guards.
Yeah.
Okay. Just throw. Smooth peel.
Okay.
Or just
Yeah, it might be an opportunity, though, here for Jared to get rid of both of those blues.
Oh, okay. You want to play like. Okay, normal. Normal.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the angle is lined up here, but it does look like they're trying to get both blues out here and stick their shooter.
Close.
Whoa!
Close.
Whoa! Yep.
Great shot.
And really good shot. Don't get rid of both blues, but the 2 reds are the 2 shot stones, and that 1 red right in front of that blue. So
Is there a triple we play?
difficult
run that,
decisions here now for the Islanders.
Sure. You got it, Jay.
Okay.
Nice and clean, buddy. You got it.
So I think he's playing the hit and roll here. He's not attempting the double.
Good.
Would like to roll right onto the face of that red stone that's behind the corner guard.
Corey.
Kurt, you. Speak. Speak, girl!
Would love a roll here. And it won't roll far enough. So Islanders have 2 in the rings,
board?
but neither of them are shot.
Bumper, board.
And Jeff Richard, if he can get a roll here, Melissa, starting to look like it might be difficult for the Islanders to score 2.
I think so. They're going to need to make a decision here once Jeff's rock comes to stop. And again, if it's not looking like they can score 2, I think they need to find a way to bail and ensure that Paul has a shot on his last one.
Good shot.
So shot called and made by Jeff Richard, and
This might spin.
Yeah, I think they can make the double as Jay just
good.
pointed out there. Will it catch that stone that's in the side tee line there,
Do we
side
have
4 foot?
anything now that those 2 front ones overlapped? Can we go red onto red, and even if we kick the blue out, we're behind all the...
Ski. Yeah. A straight peel is probably good. Well, over top, and then maybe try and get lucky with that.
Okay. Down and through, buddy. You got it.
so deciding just a straight peel, and as Jay said, if Corey Chester gets a little bit lucky, might catch that one in the 8 foot.
Yeah, if they peel it really thin here, they might get lucky. Oh boy,
Didn't want to do that.
no. That's a big mistake.
That's so close.
And that's been the story of the game for Corey Chester. We talked a little bit about how he's been struggling, but a lot of those misses are of that variety, just by an inch. And so now an opportunity here for Team Richard to really put the pressure on.
Okay, whoa.
Halfway.
Got a curl now.
I think for Team Cseke, you need to find a way to open up the scoring area for Paul and on his last couple of stones here. So Corey's got one more chance to try and clean things up a bit.
Great shot.
And that's a great shot there by Jeff. Nice spot.
You're talking about this one, right? Yeah, sure. Probably just normal.
Oh, John. As much as I like this call, I'm not sure I like it yet. You know, this is kind of a all or nothing. This is your one stone that's out front.
Ryan.
And there's a lot of red stones there for Brent Pierce to use on his. So
All right.
I'm just debating whether you needed to throw the peel first.
Okay.
Well, they do get another blue one in there, but it does continue to be Team Richard lying one.
Good toss. Yeah.
Well, he's got, if we go here, he's got this.
I'm not a big fan of this because he's got this.
Yeah, that's too easy. My first thought was this.
And you let him get here,
Yep. It's a tough 2.
then we shut it down and we probably try something like that.
Yeah, that red probably.
Might save us.
Yeah.
It's thin. Yeah,
I mean, I think all we can do is guard it, honestly.
Yeah, I like
I think
this.
that's all we can do, really. For now.
Yep.
I mean, coming in here, I mean, we
It
come
just
in
frames
here,
it up for him.
Just freezes on a second.
How?
well, what does he do right now?
Yeah, he runs the
Right
red.
back this way.
My first thought was like right there. Or here.
I kind of like guarding the run back. Because if we think that pick is too hard.
Well, that pick is, it's there, but it's pretty tough.
Yeah,
It's
but
there.
still only at only one.
And he'll only be shot one.
Yeah, that's true. So you like guarding, he likes guarding that one, so you kind of take both away with him.
I mean, you could throw a double center guard too, and then I mean, we go try and get around everything after.
What do you think?
Whatever you like, Brent. Let's make a call.
I think if we don't do that, I think he goes there to open this up.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I think he's
Yeah.
got to guard that.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
So lots
So
of
Melissa, what's the
conversation
call
there,
here?
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, and I think Jared's right. I think you have to guard that blue stone that's top 8, and the reason you
I'd like to
have to
hang it out a
guard
little
that
bit,
is
but yeah.
exactly why what Jeff pointed out there. If you don't, if you put the double center, I don't think Paul's playing the pick. That pick looks almost impossible. But if you don't guard this blue stone that's just biting top 8, Paul could come down and tap it into the forefoot and roll his shooter away and expose shot stone, and then he may have a couple of options on his last. So
Wait's good for tight.
I think this is your only option if you're Brent Pierce, is to
there.
protect that blue stone. You know, you're guarding an opposition stone, but that's okay. That's the one that's going to hurt you.
They think it's a little bit heavy here. Nothing from the sweepers at all yet. Do not want this too deep, but might get a little kiss off this guard, and they will, so that's pretty much exactly where they wanted it.
That worked out well.
So do you ever try and
like just
get the one in here? Yeah.
Right there. And he can't come off this.
That was my first thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just full 4.
I mean, if you're here too and we're over buried, I think it's okay.
Yeah. Just full 4. So I threw this one for 1.
Yeah, that was this. I think we can take a smidge less.
So for Paul Cseke right now, he knows there's a good chance he's going to have to throw a draw on his last one. That's number 1. But number 2 here is I think he needs to get in there for shot rock at the moment and put pressure on Brent Pierce to figure out what he wants to do. So they're trying to come around, get it in such a position that it's just full top 4. They don't want to go too deep because they're worried about that redstone that's on the side and that Brent may have something off it. So really, really crucial rock placement here. But most importantly, John, needs to be shot stone.
Room right now.
Yeah, sweepers are calling light out of the hand, and you certainly don't want to be short here if you're the Islanders.
You gotta go. Gotta go. Keep going.
So they've been sweeping this one from the get-go here, so it's probably killed the line a bit.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Hard.
Trying to get a little kiss. They'll get it in for shot, but I think that's wide open.
I do too. I think so. The weight was pretty close, but they were sweeping it right out of the hand, and they swept it right through the break point, and it didn't have a chance, unfortunately, to make that break.
I mean, if we could ever just go to here, it's good.
Yep, that's perfect.
I don't know. That's pretty safe.
Yep.
Yeah. I think so. Like just
Dry for 1.
Yep.
just firm hack.
I mean, what happens is the nose ever bad?
Nose is perfect, I think, but it's tough to do.
I'm just worried does he make
Well, we don't.
something.
Uh,
I guess.
Well, if I go like this, then he's got it's for the win. Is it not?
I think you got to roll a little bit Jeff's way. Try and get under our red. He might have the triple, but
Yeah, and then the nose hit. How does he score?
yeah, I love the nose. It's just flirting with the guard, but whatever you like, Brent.
Okay. Hack weight.
So they were debating, I think, whether to hit this on the nose, Melissa, or to roll away, and I guess that's just a matter of maybe not wanting to bring that center guard into play.
Yeah, I think that's what Jared was worried about, is if you play hack and you play a little bit kind of cute, I guess is the word, is you do bring that center guard into play, but honestly, the way this front end has been sweeping, I think they can hold it for Brent, and so, but ideally, hit what you can see, roll a little bit to the outside, and maybe it's a cold draw for Paul Cseke to get the single for an extra.
So final stone here for Brent Pierce. The nose might seal the win, and the roll away might
Nice hack.
still do the same. We'll see where this one ends up.
Whoa!
Well, it's not flirting with that guard, that's for sure.
Whoa!
This is really hanging.
Okay.
And that will roll completely out, but they do get rid of the shot stone, and so I believe it's a draw for one here for the Islanders to send this to an extra.
Okay. It's pulling. You gotta hit this one barely.
Yeah, you gotta like hit it in here, right?
Wait, no, you can't, right? Is this coming? Can you even, with the spin, can you even hit it low enough to get it over the top?
What do you think, Cody?
They're trying to figure out here, John, if there's a shot for the win, and oh boy, there's not an easy
well,
shot
I don't
for
think
the
it's
win.
jamming. I don't think it's jamming even if you hit it flush.
Let's play it. We need the one anyways. It's
Yeah.
really thin.
Yeah.
It's like on the one, right?
Yeah.
At the back end of this one.
Do you guys like it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Let's play to win.
So
Paul.
we talked about this earlier, Melissa. It's sometimes what the
Wow.
skip sees, and Paul Cseke seems to
Hit the back piece of that.
see a thin
Yeah, it's
double
like the one,
here.
basically.
And I guess the thought is it'll kick the red over the top and count two.
That's what they're thinking, and if they can push that redstone out far enough, that red one that was just thrown by Brent rolled to 5th shot, so they think if they need to, they can bring that stone that's top 8 into play. But oh my goodness, they could throw the draw to the forfeit for the single here and send it to an extra, but Paul Cseke sees this double and he is going to throw it.
Final stone, potentially a trip to the Briar on the line.
Ryan! Oh, straight,
Trying to make
straight,
it
go,
curl.
Go, straight, go!
Do they have it? Does Paul Cseke have it? He does not. He'll get the single,
Wow.
but unfortunately can't run the red over the top. So really close try there from Paul Cseke, but it will be Jeff Richard with the hammer in the extra when we come back. You're watching the BC Men's Provincial Curling Finals live on Czech. Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Men's Provincial Curling Championships. You're watching the final between Team Jeff Richard and Team Paul Cseke. And these are the moments you dream about, Melissa Saligo. It's an extra end to determine who goes to the Briar. And we're going to take a quick look at Paul Czeke's last shot in 10. thought he might have a chance to just push this red one over the top of his own blue and score 2, but unfortunately it jams and they'll settle for the 1. And Melissa, you and I talked in the break, not sure that that shot was maybe even there.
I'm not sure it was. I think if he maybe hit, you know, an inch less, he may have got it to push over top. He would have lost his shooter, and again bringing that top one into play. But honestly, I think that was a really tough shot, and you had to make sure you got your 1, obviously, and they did. So there you go. So here we are, extra N. Nice
And
shot
Nick
there by
Meister
Nick
will,
Meister.
yeah, make a tick with his first one. So Ryan Cassidy will look to replace that. And I guess if you're Team Richard here, Melissa, you're just going to try to do everything in your power to give Brent a draw on his last one for the win.
Exactly. We've seen Brent make some clutch draws right to the pin, right to the edge of the 4-foot, like not easy draws. So if you give him an opening, you know he's going to make it.
Mine's good.
Yeah, Brent has been dialed in on his draws all game long, so
Good.
bit of a uphill battle here for the Islanders. We know the stats say that usually the team with hammer wins about 80% of the time in an extra end, so we'll see if Team Richard can keep in line with those percentages.
Just through.
Whoa!
Just through.
Please, yep. Hard, Jared! Hard, Jared!
Creepers on this right away.
Whoa!
This looks really close.
And so Nick Meister will tick that off of the center line. Not quite as far as he would have liked, but still pretty darn good. 2 nice shots from the young Meister.
Yeah. Okay, yep.
And Melissa, I think the numbers on the board sort of tell the story of this game. It's 8-8. Don't usually see this high scoring of an affair in a provincial final, but it's been really back and forth all game.
It really has, and you know, both teams from the get-go liking rocks in play, liking to take some early risks, taking their chances and trying to get things going.
Mine's
And
good.
it's resulted in this scoring,
Right.
this high-scoring affair, which
It's got a curl.
you know
Hard.
it's really, as we said, back and forth. And Team Richard just playing outstanding, especially in the first half of the game, and
Good toss.
the Islanders just fighting back this entire game here and really hoping to find a way to steal this victory from Team Richard.
Both Paul Cseke and Jay Wakefield, not their first provincial final extra end, losing to Jim Cotter in the provincial final back in 2015 in an extra. So maybe a bit of an interesting strategy here from the Islanders, Melissa. Are you a little surprised that they went around that sort of corner-ish guard rather than continuing to try to throw centers as we often see teams do?
Well, I think one of the reasons they probably did is because they know how well Jared can hit, and they're okay to give him that single peel, but if you put another rock out front and he ever doubles peels, there's really nothing left for you to do. So by putting one in early, he has to peel the guard, and then he's only peeling a single one instead of double peeling. So unfortunately, though, for Jay Wakefield, that guard slipping into the rings, that's a big mistake here in the 11th end.
Make the peel.
Yeah, if Jared can get rid of both of these blue stones, it's going to be really hard to see a path to victory here for the Islanders.
Close.
Yep.
Yes. Hard. Hard. Go. Jeez.
And so unfortunately that just crosses a hair too far, and it will go over the top of that blue. Well thrown stone from Jared Colomea, but can't get that back blue. So it is still the Islanders lying one without hammer here.
So Corey Chester now being asked to throw the exact same guard. Obviously outside of the rings.
Line should be good.
Tight. Don't want it.
Yeah, it's got to
Don't
curl.
want it. It's tight.
Where mine was?
They don't want to be heavy again.
No, they really, really don't. Anywhere out front here. Oh boy. That
That's
is not
even
good.
further in the house. So now a real opportunity here for Jeff Richard. Would get rid of both of these blues and sit 2 in the house.
Straight.
Great shot.
And Jeff Richard makes no mistake, and so now not too many places for the Islanders to hide.
Great shot.
What a terrific shot by Jeff Richard. And it is not looking good, as you say, for Team Czeke right now, trying to find a way to steal here.
Yeah, and the one benefit too for the team of Jeff Richard here is that they have those 2 reds in the 12-foot, Melissa, and that would allow Brent on his last one to potentially throw a hit as well. And so, you know, if you're the team without the hammer, you always want your opposition to be drawing for the win, and Brent may not even have to do that depending on how the rest of this end goes.
Yep.
Hard net.
Hard net.
On it right out of the hand, but panic was maybe a little early, but it is, of course, the extra end of a BC final. So
Exactly.
if you're ever going to panic in your life, now's the time to do it. So decision time here for Cseke, because as you can see, Melissa, even drawing around that corner wouldn't make them shot. So
That's right. That's the problem for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be better than there, unless you go over there. And
Trying to figure out a way of line 2 here.
that's probably it.
I think that's the only shot they might have, John. Like, really, I'm not sure that
That's not
so-called
bad.
corner guard
Yeah.
really does anything for you.
You move that to here,
Let me just straight heels.
then we freeze. And then he has his 8-foot.
Yeah. Because if he ever noses, then I have a little guard itch with his.
No, you got to be in the 12-foot to be buried.
Although I could straight guard and then just come here after. Yeah. It's not much margin there, but.
That's probably it, isn't it? Because what if we go here now? I don't know. You could go either way, I think.
Right? Okay, let's.
We got to make a decision here.
Okay.
Straight guard.
So it looked like they were debating some sort of finesse options with those 2 reds, but in the end, electing to guard. And I guess you're just hoping for a miss from Brent if you do that.
I think, yeah, I think you're hoping for a miss no matter what. You know, they talked about trying to come around those 2 red stones. That would be ideal, but you have to be so perfect. And I don't know if you can get shot stone, because that, you know, you have to pretty much go back 8. So I think this is the only shot right now, and as you said, really hoping for a miss from Brent.
Yeah, half's good.
Thank you.
Mine's okay. Yep. That's good. Good toss.
And Paul Cseke will make the guard, so chance for Brent Pierce to steal. And we were talking earlier about some of the kind of cool facts about Brent, and for Jeff Richard, if they were to pull this one out, it would be a pretty good day for the Richard family, as his sister Gina and dad Jerry already qualified for the BC Scotties this morning. And I don't know that we've necessarily seen a father, son, daughter combo at the Briar and Scotties before, but certainly a great day for one of the foremost curling families in our province. So Brent needs to peel this. This is curling.
Roll it hard.
But it will be a peel. A little bit of, again, a little bit of panic there, but no mistake made by Brent Pierce. And so Paul Cseke just going to have to put this somewhere to try to force Brent to throw his last.
Basically a sweep for T. We'll just sweep it back here. Finish it back there, right?
I think as long as you're not even just a
Yeah.
third.
Ice.
You don't want to be here because there's just anything on the side.
Yeah, it's got to be back here. Basically, show him half a rock. Ice is probably like there.
Well, the
like
thing that sucks about this too, Melissa, is this is a really hard shot just to force Brent to throw a draw to the 8-foot.
Yeah, all this conversation and debating about where to put the broom, what to throw here, and as you said, John, you know, they're going to try and bury half behind that redstone to force Brent Pierce to make a draw to the 8-foot, and we've seen Brent so far this game has been really spot on with his draw weight. And even Jay here putting the broom down, he's not 100% convinced that this is where he needs to put it, but they're going to be close here. And Paul Cseke trying to throw for T-line weight and let the
just want to
brushers
make
do the
sure you
rest.
force Brent to throw his last. That's the mission here for the Islanders, regardless of where this ends up.
You look. Room.
Looks like they got to go for weight here.
Curl too.
Yeah, got to make sure it's shot.
Hard. Hard.
That's the key. Chester and Cassidy trying to get it by these top reds.
Hard. Keep going. Good.
Need it to at least be shot. It is the shot stone, but Brent Pierce will have the option to remove it, and he's got those red catchers there, so pretty much the dream final stone here for Brent Pierce. As you just simply have to hit this blue, you just simply have to hit this blue one anywhere, and it's all said and done.
Just clean it.
So final stone here for Brent Pierce in the extra end. Just needs to make this blue one go away.
Hard, Nick. Go, Nick.
Calling Nick Meister on it. And 31 years after Brent Pierce's first provincial final, he wins his fourth. What a phenomenal game from both of these teams.
What a great game.
But it is Jeff Richard, Brent Pierce, Jared Colomea, and Nick Meister going to the Briar. So we see the celebration there. The first Purple Hearts for Nick and Jared. What a great feeling for them. A fourth provincial championship for Brent, his first as a skip. And the third title now for Jeff Richard. And for the Islanders, it's heartbreak, but just a phenomenal game played by both teams. Amazing shots from both skips. We'll get a look at some of those right here. That draw from Brent Pierce for 2 in the ninth might be a critical one. Paul Cseke just missing in the 10th for his 2. Nick Meister making excellent ticks in the 11th. Ryan Cassidy curled 99% today. We'll shout out the finger guns for him. And a look at the final winning stone for Brent Pierce. Made his first final in 1990 and is your 2022 BC champion. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back with an interview with the winning skip. You're watching Live Curling on Czeke. Hello, curling fans. Welcome back to the BC men's final. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. And Melissa, we just saw a very hard-fought battle between the Islanders team Paul Cseke and team Jeff Richard. And it went down to the wire, but we have to say pretty much a perfectly played extra end by Team Richard.
Oh, unbelievable. Nick Meister making 2 ticks on his lead stones, and that is the key, right? You get those first 2 off. Jared then coming up with his peels, and they made no mistakes, and they were saving their rocks on the edge of the 12-foot, so that even on Brent's last one, he didn't have to stick around. He just made it. Of course, he nosed it, but fabulous, fabulous game by Team Richard.
No question about it, and I think it maybe goes back to that draw by Brent Pierce in the 9th end. Melissa, as we said, pretty much had to drop that on a dime. He did it. It made the 10th end that much tougher for the Islanders, and then they pull out the win in the extra.
Unbelievable. As you said, I think we said that twice about Brent today. He literally could have picked up a rock and put it in that spot. Fabulous draws. Fabulous.
Well, speaking of Brent Pierce, we've got him here now, and Brent, it's been a while, but you're heading back to the Briar. How does that feel?
Hard to believe, eh? Hard to believe.
Not that hard. Not that hard the way you played today. I mean, you were just absolutely locked in, and that's got to feel pretty darn good.
Yeah, for a guy my age, it feels pretty darn good, I'll tell you. I didn't know if I'd get another shot at something like this, and when these guys gave me a chance to come on the team, I said, hey, careful what you wish for, man. But, yeah, they played great all week for me, and what else could you ask for, man?
Brent, congratulations. Such a fantastic game by yourself and the rest of your team. Just can you put it into words what it's like going to the Briar with not only Jeff, but your front end who haven't been there before?
Well, I guess it's hard to know how they feel, other than to think back to a long time ago when I went to my first one. It was pretty exciting, right? It's pretty. I think for Jeff and I, it's been a journey, playing together a bunch of different times over a few different years, and we're having some pretty good success. So, but not quite making the Briar, because I think we lost 2 finals in a row in 2012 and 2013. So it's nice to be able to finish it off, and I'm just he's helpful out there on the ice to me. I think we work really well together, and it's a pleasure to curl with him.
Last one from me, Brent. I know that going back 11 years now, you and I played together, and one of the things you always told me was that it was, you'd made the Briar 3 times before, but always your dream to get to the Briar as the skip with you throwing the last rocks and calling the game, and now you finally realized that dream. How does that feel?
Feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It feels pretty darn good. I want to do that for all, pretty much all my career. Call it 32 years from 1990 from the first time I had a chance, and I've had a lot of chances, and it's been really, really close. And I've obviously been a bridesmaid enough times that it's hurtful. But today's a good day.
Today is a great day. Congratulations again to you and your team, Brent. Just a phenomenally played final. It was a true pleasure to watch, and to all the fans, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to throw it back to the Czeke studio with Stacy and Kevin for their thoughts. For Melissa Saligo, I'm John Cullen. We'll see you next year.